All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this afternoon's live commentary coverage of the Cookout 400 at Martinsville Speedway for the NASCAR Cup Series in the 7th round of the 2026 NASCAR Cup Series season. And here in today's pre-race, as usual, we will go on with a little NASCAR trivia before leading into the traditional pre-race things, like when we go through the Fantasy League. We'll go through who I think will run well, not run well in today's race, starting lineup, point standings, and by that point, it'll take us to the drop of the green flag in right around a half hour's time. Thanks for everybody tuning into this one. This is one of the shorter races of the season, 400 laps around just a short half-mile oval for this weekend's NASCAR Sporkle Quiz. We will be doing something a little bit different. Not going to do a Martinsville track history quiz per se, and we're just going to try to find a NASCAR-specific quiz, and one that we just have not done yet this season. Because I don't have one particularly picked out yet. Let's go NASCAR. Laps led, maybe? 80 to 99. 2000 to 2019. It goes decade by decade for some of these. Kind of intergroups multiple decades into one. I think we're going to do that quiz. We're going to do NASCAR lap leaders from 2000 to 2019. 147 drivers have ever led a lap in the years 2000 to 2019 in the NASCAR Cup Series. We're going to try to name them all. 20 minutes on the clock. And again, this is our quiz for the week. You can play along in the chat. I will be bouncing back and forth so we can try to get as close to, if not 100%, if possible. Terry Lewis, Bond 1771, Frank Powers, Pam Hall, Marcus Villarreal. Kenneth, thanks for tuning in, everybody. All right, let's get the quiz underway. 20 minutes on the clock. We're going to go Jimmy Johnson first. He's got the most. I know Kevin Harvick is probably up there. Jeff Gordon. He's trying to... Tony Stewart. Earnhardt. And that'll be Dale Jr. and Jeffrey Earnhardt on the list as well. Dale Sr., of course. And Robbie Gordon on the list as well with Jeff Gordon. The Busch brothers. Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch. Go Denny Hamlin. Matt Kenseth. This website is very slow already. That kind of bothers me. Especially considering we're in the first minute of the quiz. Ryan Newman. He was around for a long time. Greg Biffle. Carl Edwards. Brad Keselowski. Joey Logano. Mark Martin. Just trying to think of like the greats. Clint Boyer. Just guys who were around for a while. Jamie McMurray. The Burton brothers. Ward Jeff. Sterling Marlin. Let's go team by team, I guess. Now it'll be a little easier for me. One Pablo Montoya, kind of starting at Ganassi. David Stremme, Reed Sorensen. Casey Kane is on here quite a bit. Let's go Scott Riggs, Elliott Sadler, Jeremy Mayfield. Almirola. Hunter, thanks for tuning in. Playing along. While we were on the Ganassi side, Jimmy Spencer. Steve Park. Go Waltrip. And that should be Daryl and Michael. Brian Vickers, Jerry Nadeau, Schrader, Labonte, Terry Bobby. Wallace. A lot of Wallaces. Bubba, Mike, Kenny, Rusty. Scott Speed popped in my mind for some rhyme reason. David Rudiman. David Rudiman, Michael McDowell. Parker Kligerman. Got Randy LaJoy. Jeff Green. Tony Raines. Travis Quapple. Johnny Sauter. Mike Bliss. Jack Sprague. He's not on here. Ted Musgrave. Chad Little. Casey Atwood. William Byron. Alex Bowman. Blaney. Larson. Elliott. Bill, and Chase. Truex. Buckshot Jones, PJ Jones, Eric Jones, John Andretti. Nemechek. Joe Nemechek. Ricky Rudd. Scott Wimmer. Blaney. I put him. Ryan and Dave. Cindric isn't going to be on here yet. I got Logano. AJ Allmendinger. Justin Haley. Daniel Suarez. Ross Chastain. Brett Moffitt. Stephen Light. He's not on here. Casey Mears. Ricky Craven. Robert Presley. Forrest Said, probably on a road course, I'm sure. Marcus Ambrose, I did not put on the list yet. Any driver who has ever led a lap from the year 2000 to 2019 is our quiz for this week. Kenny Irwin. He was retired. What about Rick Mast? Okay, Rick Mast is on here. Oh. Bobby Hamilton. Junior and senior. Smith, Regan Smith. Dallenbach? Parsons? Phil Parsons on here? No. Um, Joe Ruttman? No, he would have been out of the Cup Series. Kevin LePage. Morgan Shepherd. Johnny Benson. No, not him. Not Alan Kulwicki. Danica Patrick, I did not put yet. Almirola. He's not on the list. Tried Timmy Hill just in case. Newman. Yeah, David Reagan. I didn't put Reagan, Bain yet. Stenhouse. There's Bain. John Wood not on the list. BJ McLeod on here? No, he's not. Cody Ware? Nope. It's like maybe during like green flag pit stops or something. The Dillon brothers. Ty and Austin. Chris Buescher, I didn't name yet. Ryan Preece. I do have Bubba. I don't have Tyler Reddick, but I don't think. Yeah, because he was a rookie in 2020, and this is 2019. Christopher Bell was a rookie the same year. DeBenedetto. Landon Castle. Got 101. 101 of 147. Carpentier. Franchitti. Custer was a rookie in 2020. Marlin. I already got Marlin. I do have Jeffrey Earnhardt already. Lee Martin saying Bell for the win. Brian Scott's a good one. Yep, thank you, chat. Brian Scott. Justin Allgaier. Michael Annette. Okay. Justin Marks. Pulled that out. Also ran a lot of like road course races, maybe. There might even be some guys who won some races I haven't named yet either. Got Green, McMurray, Martin. Mike, thanks for tuning in. Connor Burke, welcome to the stream as well. 107 of 147 right now. Any driver who has led a lap in the NASCAR Cup Series from the years 2000 to 2019 is our quiz for today. Gilliland. David Gilliland. Paul Menard, I haven't named yet. Paul Menard. It's 109 of 147. I do have Truex. I've got John Andretti already, I believe. Yeah. Got him. All right, I'm gonna look at the wall of diecast. I don't think I've missed anybody. Not right there, at least. There's one driver with over 1,000 laps led from the years 2000. Oh, Dale Jarrett. That's who that is. Yep. Okay, I got him now. It just dawned on me I didn't put Dale Jarrett yet. And I was just looking at the diecast too. That's the sad part. All right. So we got 110 of 147, still 6.5 minutes to go. We only have two drivers who have led over 100 laps. One of them led for 408. Max Pappas? No. What about Ron Fellows? Ron Fellows is on here. I already tried Craven. Just trying to think from the old NASCAR video games like Kevin Grubb. Who's another one? Christian Fittipaldi? Let's go. 112 of 147. Kevin Conway. There we go. 113 of 147. I didn't try JJ Yaley yet. Yaley, Leffler. Missed out a couple JGR guys. Dennis Setzer. Like, let's try some Truck Series guys from back in the day. Crawford. Tried a few that I know for a fact. Oh, Bodine. Todd Bodine. Jeff Bodine. And I think Brett was on here too. Yep, all right. Hornaday. Ron Hornaday. Mike Skinner. I missed all these guys. 120 of 147. I could probably keep doing that. Like Ben Rhodes. What about Matt Crafton? Mike McLaughlin? I don't even know how to spell that. McLaughlin. Nope. 4 minutes to go. 120 of 147. You can name any names in the chat, just in case I missed any. Every driver with over 100 laps led from the years 2000 to 2019 I have named. I do feel I'm missing some drivers who are still active today. I've done that before. Just trying to run around in my head if I've named everyone. Like Briscoe was a rookie in 21. What about remember trying Sam Hornish. Sam Hornish Jr. Brennan Gaughan. Derek Cope has got to be on here. Yep. 1 lap led. Harrison Burton wouldn't have been on here yet, but I did have the other Burtons, Ward and Jeff. I do have Montoya already. I don't think I'm missing anybody that's won a race. At least I hope not. It's getting tough. 123 of 147. Dave Marcus, that's right. I remember he raced for a really long time because he was in the 2001 Daytona 500. And right now we are doing pretty fantastic. Kyle Petty. 125 of 147. I do have Craven. Connor Burke said Kyle Petty right after, or I should say before me. I just didn't look at the chat before I put that in there. Kligerman has to be on here. I think I spelled his name wrong. All right. I guess he's just not on here. Timothy Peters, Eric Darnell, Terry Cook. Terry Cook's on here. What a poll. Stacy Compton. Let's go. At 127 and 147, we're down to the final 5 seconds. I think that's going to be it. All right, names that we missed. Oh, Daniel Hemrick was the Rookie of the Year in 2019. That's right. He was one and done. Scott Pruitt, another road course driver. Dang. Hut Strickland's on the list. Frank Kimmel. Josh Wise. Matthias Ekstrom I would have never gotten. Cole Witt. Andy Lally was who I was thinking of earlier when I was thinking of those road course guys and just didn't put it. Larry Foyt's on here. I'd put Larry Pearson. Did not try Larry Foyt. Shane Meal. David Starr. Andy Houston. Mike Garvey. Jeff Fuller. George Goders. Brandon Ash. Eric McClure. Blake Cook. Matt Tipp. Austin Terre Haute. All right. You know, honestly, I'm not upset with missing a lot of those names. There's a few I think I definitely could have gotten with more time to think. Like the Matt Tipp would have been really tough. I do remember him getting that Cup start at Talladega. Apparently he led a lap. Blake Cook, I don't really remember in the Cup Series. Same for Eric McClure and Austin Terre Haute. I don't remember them getting Cup starts, really. 86%, average score 68%, so we crushed it this week. That was going to be tough to get 100. I don't think that was really possible for me, to be completely honest, even with the help of you guys. Thank you all for playing along in our fantasy, or not fantasy, but in the chat quiz fantasy for this week. As we go on to a different page on NASCAR.com, we'll check out the KRC League. Name of the league is KRC League. KRC in all capital letters, space, capital L on league. I'll put the league name in the chat. KRC League. Boom. There we go. So if you want to join, that's on the NASCAR mobile app or NASCAR.com website. And as far as my team for this weekend, I haven't put it in yet. But we're going to throw William Byron in there. He's on the front row. He's won 3 next-gen races at Martinsville. Can't not put him in the list. Denny Hamlin's going to be my starting lineup. He's on the pole. He was good on the long runs in practice. So he's definitely going to be in the starting 5. Kyle Larson, really good. Fastest on the 25 and 30 lap averages. He does have 1 next-gen win here. It was a 400-lap race at Martinsville as well. And then if we fast forward now to the likes of a different driver, I do think Joey Logano's got potential for a good run today at Penske with those short runs. Ryan Blaney, another good driver in the long runs at Martinsville historically, and this week was fastest in the 20-lap average category. Chase Elliott wouldn't be a bad garage driver. Gonna kind of look around. Ty Gibbs has been just so red hot. I think I got to put Gibbs. Toyotas have been strong out of the gate as well. So for that reason, I haven't used him yet. Tried to ride maybe the Gibbs hot streak for this week. Head-to-head battles, we got Tyler Reddick versus Christopher Bell. I'll take Bell. He's a former winner here. Byron versus Larson. I don't trust Larson here, even though he has 1 win. Byron does have 3, and he is one of my favorites to win. Bubba Wallace versus Joey Logano's tough. Bubba Wallace has a good record here. Joey Logano, at most consecutive top 10s of any active driver, 13 consecutively entering this weekend at Martinsville specifically. Keselowski, former winner here, had a good run last week, but so did Carson Hocevar. They've both been pretty hot as of late. Brad starts deeper in the field, so I'll take Carson just because of the track position. Not sure exactly how much tire fall-off we're going to see today, just because this race is 100 laps shorter than the fall race. So with this being a shorter race today, I don't think we're going to see tires mean as much, especially in the first 2 stages, because they're going to be less than 100 laps each, which is not a long time here at Martinsville. All right, so that's the fantasy team for this weekend. I got Byron, Hamlin, Logano, Larson, Blaney, and Gibbs. And interested to see who you guys have as well. Drop of the green flag will be scheduled in about 15 minutes time. They should be going trackside here shortly if they haven't yet. Actually got to turn my TV on so we can get that up and running here shortly. And I'll let you listen into the pre-race festivities as we get things started here shortly in Martinsville, Virginia. First traditional short track race of the season. With this being a half-mile short track, we raced at Phoenix, which is kind of like an overgrown short track, if you ask me. All right, they're in the booth, so we have not gotten to the pre-race ceremonies yet, but that will be starting pretty much any minute. All right. Obviously, the race is on Fox Sports 1 today. Mike Joy, Kevin Harvick, Clint Boyer are in the booth. You'll get to hear from them at moments throughout the course of today's race. Drivers are actually in their cars already. Other shout-outs to those of you I haven't shouted out yet, whether you were playing along in the trivia or here now. We got Emo Gene Blevins, AJF, Jerry Marty. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Connor Burke, of course. And many others that I might have shouted out either before or during. Thank you for tuning in.
Dirk Reeves. 400 laps.
All right, so you can vote for who you think is going to win today's race in our chat poll. That will remain open until the end of Stage 2, per usual with these live commentary streams. We're going to have some diecast showings as well. We're actually going to be doing 2 of them today because I was not at home the last couple of weeks while doing the live commentary streams. I didn't have any diecasts on me, so we will do a diecast showing at the end of Stage 1 and Stage 2 today instead of just Stage 2. Patrick Shadley, good afternoon to you as well. Good afternoon. Sorry about MIA. Got engaged. Hey, congratulations, Patrick. It's awesome to hear. Longtime viewer of the channel. Welcome back. Huge shout out to Patrick. It's awesome, man. Point standings coming into this weekend's race. The last thing we really have to cover before we get into the starting lineup, Tyler Reddick is leading the standings with a 95-point lead over Ryan Blaney. 4 wins in the first 6 races. Got his 4th last weekend in the Darlington Goodyear 400 race. 189 laps led for Reddick so far on the year. Is actually not the most this season despite the 4 wins. He does have the 2nd most laps led, only behind Christopher Bell, though, who has 225. Reddick at 189. 4 top 5s on the year as well for Reddick. All of his top 5s have been wins, and he had 1 more top 10 as well, which came at Phoenix. Also, speaking of Phoenix, Ryan Blaney won that race. He is 2nd in the standings again, minus 95. Denny Hamlin, who has a win at Las Vegas, is sitting 4th in points. He is the pole sitter for today's race and should be one of the odds-on favorites. Bubba Wallace sitting 3rd in points. Great consistent start to the year with 4 top 10s, a ton of stage points. In fact, he scored more stage points than any other driver so far in 2026. And then Chase Elliott rounds out the top 5 in points coming into the week. William Byron 6th in points, Chris Buescher 7th, Christopher Bell 8th, Brad Keselowski 9th, and Kyle Larson rounds out the top 10. Top 16 will make the chase at the end of the regular season, so right now 11th through 16th would be Ty Gibbs in 11th, Ryan Preece 12th, Carson Hocevar 13th, Daniel Suarez 14th, Shane Van Gisbergen 15th, and Joey Logano 16th is the last driver in on a tie with Michael McDowell. McDowell, of course, first driver out. So look to see who is going to get it done in today's race. Should be a lot of fun, that's for sure. I'm not sure who I have pegged to personally win this race today. I was kind of teetering between Denny Hamlin and William Byron in the pre-race. I do think that Blaney and Larson on the long runs is going to be good, but with this race being 100 laps shorter than the fall, I think that's going to get broken up just a little bit more. And obviously Hamlin, Byron qualifying on the front row, good on the short run. Byron's got 3 next-gen wins here, but Denny Hamlin dominated this race just last season in the spring with more horsepower. Give me Denny Hamlin, because he's won at Martinsville with more horsepower than what the next-gen offered in the first few years the next-gen raced here. And he has also won in next-gen. So give me Denny Hamlin. I'm going to stick with my gut. He was my pick, and then I was teetering for a little bit before I went live, but now I'm going to take Hamlin as we're getting close to the drop of the green flag. And here he is talking with Clint Boyer and Kevin Harvick.
Looks good on you, so good luck out there. All right, thank you. The drivers that won the 2 races here last year share the front row. Hamlin's Toyota and William Byron's Chevrolet.
Yes, they do. And we'll go through the rest of the starting lineup for the Cookout 400 today with Hamlin, a 5-time winner at Martinsville, 6-time winner, at Martinsville, and William Byron, a 3-time winner here. In row 2 will be Josh Berry and Ty Gibbs looking for the first wins at track, and Gibbs still looking for his first career win. He has finished 6th or better in the last 4 races. Coming into this weekend. Shane Van Gisbergen and Austin Cindric will be in row number 3, an impressive qualifying effort for SVG. Row 4, Carson Hocevar coming off a top 5 last week, and Tyler Reddick, again, 4 wins in the first 6 races of 2026. Row 5 will be Joey Logano and Chase Elliott, both former winners at the track, 1 each. Christopher Bell, another 1-time winner here, and Ryan Blaney, a 2-time Martinsville winner in row 6. Kyle Larson, the spring winner of a few years ago, and the inside of row 7, alongside Zane Smith, having a good start to the season. Bubba Wallace, top 5 in points entering this week, will line up inside of row 8 to his outside Chris Buescher. The other RFK Ford of Ryan Preece on the inside of row number 9, and Ross Chastain to the outside, looking to break the top 20 in points still. Eric Jones and Michael McDowell will round out the top half of the field in row number 10, and then row 11, Justin Allgaier for the 4th consecutive week in the 48, filling in for Alex Bowman, and Daniel Suarez on the outside of that row, coming off the top 10 last week at Darlington. Brad Keselowski, Cole Custer. Brad, a 2-time winner at Martinsville. He'll line up on the inside, and Custer again to the outside of row 12. Rookie Connor Zilic and second-year driver Riley Herbst will be in row 13. Chase Briscoe, AJ Allmendinger in row 14. Row 15 will be Todd Gillen and Austin Dillon. Noah Gragson, John Hunter Nemechek in row 16. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Kyle Busch, row 17. Cody Ware, Ty Dillon, row 18. And then row 19 rounding out the field, Austin Hill, who is the only open entry. He's in the 33 car for Richard Childress Racing today. So 37 cars on the entry list. All will start today's race. If you're new to the channel, we are live Just like this, for every NASCAR Cup race, as well as Cup practice and qualifying, O'Reilly and Truck Series races all season long, so be sure to tune in, week out. Cup Series will be off next week for Easter, so they will not race again until Bristol the following Sunday. So we got our first of 2 off weeks for the NASCAR Cup Series next week. The Truck and O'Reilly Series will still be on at Rockingham for a doubleheader on Saturday afternoon. I believe the truck race right around noon Eastern, O'Reilly about an hour after the finish of that race. But yeah, last NASCAR Cup race stream until Bristol in 2 weeks, another half-mile short track. My personal favorite track in the NASCAR Cup Series. We've seen some wild races there with tire fall off already, and I'm curious to see what the extra horsepower is going to do to that with these next-gen cars. Should have a lot of fun here today as well. Martinsville has been probably my top 5 of favorite tracks all the time. Always like the short track racing at both Martinsville and Bristol especially. But Bristol has been my personal favorite since I was a kid. Steve J, H. Holly D, welcome to the stream. What number are first place points without stage points? I don't know what that means. Like who's first in points without stage points? Is that what you're asking? Probably Reddick. I mean, he's won 4 of the first 6 races. I think he'd be leading in any points format for the first 6 races with those wins. Lead is stretched out quite a bit, though, I will say. I mean, you go to a race like Martinsville where the first stage is only 80 laps on a half-mile short track, qualifying means a lot. Especially when it's already hard to pass, because if you qualify really well, you're going to score a pretty good amount of stage points, especially in stage 1. It's going to be one of the shorter races of the Cup Series season. Our race analysis for today, 35 mile per hour pit road speed. Probably not going to see any green flag pit stops unless stage 3 goes caution free. As far as stage 1 and stage 2, 80 and 100 laps, but with this being a half-mile track, you can go well over 100 laps on a full fuel run. If we do see a fair amount of tire fall off in that third stage, maybe there's a possibility where drivers will split the stage in half, go 100 and 100. Guess a little over 100 with it being a 120 lap stint. But this is going to be fun. Martinsville Speedway. We had Darrell Waltrip in the booth last weekend giving the Boogity Boogity Boogity, a classic of his, to start the race. No Darrell Waltrip this week, but he did have a famous start at Martinsville, or did multiple times. Obviously, Martinsville Speedway famous for their hot dogs, $2 each. Very, very good, I might add. Got to stock up on them if you ever go to Martinsville Speedway. So to get this race started off, how about a little boogity, boogity, boogity? Let's go racing, you bunch of hot dogs, as we are underway in Martinsville, and Denny Hamlin leads us to the green. All right, green flag in the air. We're underway. Hamlin, Byron into the first turn. Hamlin the advantage on the inside. Will pull clear for the lead up out of turn 2. The inside lane won every restart of the O'Reilly race yesterday, and boy, there were a lot of restarts. 14 cautions in that 250-lap race. Shouldn't see anywhere near the amount of cautions in the Cup race today. Historically, they just haven't had as many yellows, especially in the next-gen era here, and this race 100 laps shorter than a lot of the spring races prior to 2020. Where those races were 500 laps, this one 400. Aggressive move by Cindric to pull down in the bottom lane and hang on for 5th place in front of Shane Van Gisbergen and Tyler Reddick. Reddick still hanging on the outside of SVG side by side in that battle for 6th. So 0.6 of a second lead already for Hamlin just after the first couple laps, looking to set sail early. We know he is a driver that is one to watch for on longer runs. He fared very well at Darlington, leading quite a few laps last week, and obviously won at Las Vegas the week before that, leading over half of the laps in that 267 lap race. Well, Hamlin should be pretty good here today as well. And definitely a good start. Five laps complete. Top five in the running order has Denny Hamlin in the lead, William Byron second, Josh Berry third, Ty Gibbs fourth, and Austin Cindric in fifth.
Rain since we got the modified race in, so it's definitely cleaned up and had some rubber all over it.
Contact, Tosavar, and Reddick.
And these are the days that you're going to see things like that happen for Carson Hocevar. We've heard it talked about him being aggressive, but these are the days where guys aren't going to wait around on him. And Joey Logano didn't waste any time laying a bumper to him right there.
Larry Mack.
Yeah, guys, we saw this yesterday in practice. These guys with the Gen 7 car and a sequential shifter, they go between third and fourth gear, shifting about 4 times a lap. We're only 6 laps in. Denny Hamlin stopped shifting about 2 or 3 laps ago. He is keeping it in fourth gear compared to Josh Berry and William Byron.
That's a good point. Right along with him right there. He can see it. That right hand doesn't even think about reaching over there. I guess that's our version of cruise control.
Well, there's a couple reasons that he would do that. With the more horsepower, those shifts come really quick up off the corner, but that means more torque, more horsepower up off the corner as well. So if you can make good enough lap time, and Denny Hamlin's doing fine right now, and not spin those tires, you're just putting life back into those tires longer.
Yeah, but more torque and horsepower is more wheel spin. Did you see Bubba going into turn 1? He gave Chase Elliott a shot. Pulling him up out of the groove. He's going to do it again. Chase is having a little bit of trouble taking off here. Probably low on air pressure. You can see it a little loose, Kevin.
And typically, sometimes you have a long run car and sometimes you don't. But it's not abnormal here to have a great car on Saturday in practice and show up for the race and be like, what the heck just happened to my race car? Why won't it turn? Why is it so loose? I did that a lot more than you. But it was not fun to have to drive it that way after you thought you had such a good race car.
Well, Chase has dropped 3 spots from the start of the race. Bubba was aware of that. Thought he could take advantage, but now they seem to have equaled out.
And yesterday, we thought Chase Elliott had one of the best cars, and also this car right here of Joey Logano. He had a great car in practice yesterday. 13 straight top 10s here at Martinsville. So obviously a racetrack that he does very well at. But they needed to fix and get some things going in the right direction this week. They got lapped 3 times at Darlington last week, and saying Joey Logano got lapped 3 times at a racetrack anywhere on the schedule is something that I wouldn't have ever imagined saying, but it can happen. I've had it happen in these Gen 7 cars. You miss it by that much at a place like Darlington, and it will make for a long day. And last week he had that long day.
Ryan Blaney moving up. Blaney started 12th.
Yep, already up 3 positions in the first 14 laps. Carson Hocevar overdriving the entry into the corner, it looks like, not only behind Blaney. I've noticed that a couple times as he's gotten passed by several cars after starting 7th, now back to 10th. Denny Hamlin still out in front by about a half a second over William Byron in 2nd. Then you got Josh Berry 3rd, Ty Gibbs in 4th, and Austin Cindric 5th. 6th is Shane Van Gisbergen, Joey Logano 7th, Tyler Reddick in 8th, Ryan Blaney 9th, Carson Hocevar rounds out the top 10.
Stand on the racetrack and you have to start moving around.
Everybody has a different driving style, and his natural ability, I think, he can drive a car a little bit freer than a competition. That enables him to stay turning longer and drive up through the field like we see him do, whether we're in Martinsville or Darlington or Vegas. He can drive a freer race car than most, and that keeps that center rotation speed fast.
Well, so far he's advancing.
It does every week. No surprise. Oh, I see what you're saying. So is his sponsor. Oh. Play on words. But see right there, right on the curve, each and every lap, he wraps that curve very well all the way around the corner. See how close he is to it? Everybody else kind of diamonds way up. That's a free race car. When I'm free around this place, that's where I'm married to. Looking to the inside.
Blaney setting records the last couple of weeks for numbers of cars passed. And the reason he had to set those records were because of continued problems on pit road. The same crew comes here to service the 12 this week, as was working on it last week. They're going to have to be better if he's going to win races.
Well, he won't win this race if he has to go to the back. So if he has the same trouble that he did at Vegas and Darlington, he has no chance today.
19 laps complete. Denny Hamlin has.
All right, at the conclusion of lap 20, Denny Hamlin has started strong, leading every lap from the pole to start today's race. Remember, only 80 laps in this first stage as we're looking to fly by with him out in front. We'll go through the rest of the running order now all the way through the field. So outside of Hamlin leading, again, William Byron in second, Josh Berry third, Austin Cindric is fourth, and fifth is Ty Gibbs. Shane Van Gisbergen in sixth, Joey Logano seventh, Ryan Blaney eighth, Tyler Reddick ninth, and Carson Hocevar in 10th. Christopher Bell 11th, Kyle Larson 12th, Chase Elliott 13th, Bubba Wallace 14th, and Ryan Preece 15th. 16th is Chris Buescher, Zane Smith 17th, Eric Jones 18th, Ross Chastain 19th, and Michael McDowell 20th. 21st is Daniel Suarez, Justin Allgaier 22nd, Brad Keselowski 23rd, Riley Herbst 24th, and 25th is Chase Briscoe. Cole Custer in 26th, 27th is Austin Dillon, 28th is Connor Zilisch, AJ Allmendinger 29th, and Todd Gillen 30th. John Nemechek 31st, Noah Gragson 32nd, Ty Dillon 33rd, Kyle Busch 34th, Austin Hill 35th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 36th, and Cody Ware rounds out the 37-car field. So 25 laps complete out of 400. Very quick start to this one. Honestly, with the pace we're running right now, if we stayed green all the way through stage one, I'm pretty sure this first stage is going to be done in less than 20 minutes. Probably closer to 25. But that's going to be a fast opening stage. I would not be shocked, like I said at the start, if this is going to be the fastest race of the season. We haven't seen a lot of cautions at the Cup Series these last 2 weeks at both Las Vegas and Darlington. 400-mile race at Darlington timed in just barely over 3 hours and a couple minutes last week with a couple yellows, and then one caution for incident at Vegas the week before, 2 hours and 47 minutes for that one. So fast race pace around a short half-mile oval, slower track, probably the slowest, not probably, it is the slowest track in the NASCAR Cup Series. KTN USA, JoJo, Pete Creamer, thanks for tuning in. Dean Tate, welcome in as well. Denny not shifting, looks like Bubba is. Yeah, I mean, with this next-gen car, we usually see shifting at Martinsville, and it's not uncommon because we actually saw that in prior generations of stock car as well, to just try to help get the tires, keep them underneath you if you drive it in deep and still get the good drive off. But now with the extra horsepower, you can kind of get a little bit more of that off throttle time and still get that punchiness when you're getting back to the gas. Some drivers will still take to the shifting method, try to help rear tire security, but it's going to be more mixed today.
Tomorrow, a huge night of baseball coming your way. 6 Eastern. Catch Ellie De La Cruz and the Reds versus the Pirates. Then at 9:30, the Giants against the Padres, all on FS1. Here in Martinsville, 28 laps complete. Hamlin, Byron, Berry, Cindric has been the running order. Cindric from 6th up to 4th. Ty Gibbs rounds the top 5. Earlier, we were allowed to sit in on Denny Hamlin's team meeting.
Like what we've talked about the last couple of weeks, Vegas specifically, is let's make no mistakes, right? We got a good car today. He's great here. Let's make sure that we get him off pit road cleanly. We don't have a major problem, right? Consistency. That's what's going to win us the race today. Let's go get another Martinsville clock, right? Let's go do it. Let's go, boys. Take top on 3. 1, 2, 3. Play time.
Tick tock. And Father Clock. And there was a big issue there at Martinsville Speedway this year because this tradition started in 1964 with the grandfather clock. Fred Lorenzo got the first one, and they were made right down the street 2 miles from here at Ridgeway Clock Company. Up until this year, when Howard Miller, the parent company of Ridgewood, said they are ceasing operations. What would happen to one of NASCAR's most beloved traditions? The Hermal Clock Company of Amherst County, Virginia, stepped up. Turns out the CEO of Hermal was a classmate of track president Clay Campbell back in school, and they are the new provider of the grandfather clock.
So we still got clocks?
Yes.
Yes. Hey, Kevin, look at the rubber on that racetrack. Didn't take long. 34 laps in, already seeing some rubber, and I'm watching these cars. They're trying to navigate around that already pretty early, huh?
Well, it definitely becomes an issue as you see the dark spots. Those dark spots will actually start to cake up, and when they cake up, you can get that right front tire hung in that rubber, and it'll start to push the cars. We see John Hunter up the racetrack right there.
What I'm seeing is a battle. We knew that it was going to happen. The heat is on. Watch those guys in front of Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, big battle back there. Nobody wants to get taken off the lead lap during the first and shortest stage of the race. That's Austin Hill just in front of Denny Hamlin. He moves up to the high side. I guess that's where you would want the lap cars to go, right?
Well, that's what you want him to go, but what you don't want is that 24 in his rearview mirror running down, and this is the opportunity that he's looking for. Who can get through lap traffic the best will be the man today.
Yeah, and that's when you find out who has the best car and who has a versatile car.
That's right.
A versatile car in traffic is going to be a lot better than a car that's fast, that catches the back of the pack and can't do anything. So right now, we're seeing the 24 car run in on the back of Denny Hamlin, and usually for the second place car, it's a lot easier to pass those guys once the leader goes by because they're doing everything they can.
Just make sure you're with him and fence that pole.
14th place on the bottom of the screen. Chris Buescher moving up. Jamie?
Well, actually, like 2 more seconds. I get 15. So I couldn't touch you back with Steven this morning. He said our balance, off on or off, need to be a tiny bit tighter. Chris Cruz came on the radio and said, I'm like 4 numbers tighter than we were yesterday. That car does not or rotating like it needs.
Well, not surprising. Same thing we were talking about earlier with Chase Elliott not looking quite as good as he did yesterday. Denny Hamlin's getting frustrated right here with John Hunter Nemechek.
Yeah, he is. Wearing out his back bumper. 24 to the lead, maybe.
On the lead lap there, and more traffic inside. That is for the lead. That is Byron. That's not traffic. That's the new leader.
Yeah, he was frustrated for a reason. He couldn't get around Nemechek and open the door up for Byron and slip by them both.
Yeah, and this is where a guy like Denny Hamlin's going to keep his head together, hopefully take care of that race car, realize, the 42 was putting you in a bad situation, which he shouldn't be pleased with, but it is what it is at this point. Don't tear your car up.
Hamlin led the first 38 laps until he got deep into traffic, trying to lap the 34th place car.
Let's go back and set this pass up. You can see Denny Hamlin.
A Martinsville classic.
Lap or so. But see Nemechek sliding right up in front of him. Still in the way. Open the door wide open for Byron to pass him on the inside. Almost gave it up to Josh Berry behind him as well.
And you see the 42 still checking up at like the 5/8 mark right there. And
he's in big trouble.
Yeah, he's in big trouble. But
Hamlin got up against his back bumper and had nowhere to go. Could break out to the bottom lane. Yeah, now he's tracked down William Byron.
And that right there is exactly what you see Denny Hamlin up the racetrack. That's the thing that I was never able to do here. Denny Hamlin's always been able to move around the racetrack, make that corner shape a little bit different as you see him right next to the bumper.
He can just maneuver around, and I saw this, and that's why when I talked to him, I knew that the confidence was there. It's much like when we talked about him after Vegas. I vividly remember him doing an interview and saying, these guys are in trouble. My car's lights out, and it is that way again. He could just go wherever he wants to.
Got him.
Wants the lead back and gets it. Next car
Easy.
is Kyle Busch, who said after a dismal qualifying effort, I need a caution between lap 30 and 40 because by then my tires are going to be toast.
Well, he made it a little bit further than he thought it was going to make. Let's hear what he has to say on the radio.
Oh, boy.
I told you rear
Well.
drive was the thing you needed, Kevin.
Well,
Not really.
well, it's
What he needed is Nemechek out of the way.
yeah, it's I think that the 8 car is definitely in a tough situation. Kyle's frustrated. The cars aren't running good, and unfortunately, it sounds like there's already tension. We have a new crew chief with Jim Pullman there on that car. So it's pretty early in the year to have that frustrating conversation already.
Well, and it's not just him. I mean, we unfortunately noted that. I think their best car is 27th right now.
Ouch. And they got 3 of them in the race today,
Back
too.
in command, now moving up on Ty Dillon, he drives for Colin. Then Noah Gregson ahead, and he's able to put a little distance between himself and William Byron, the second place car. Traffic is a constant here at Martinsville. So are drivers with overheated tempers. That's just part of the 400 laps here, and it goes on and on.
Already seen a little bit of temperage at the front of the field. In the back, as you heard from Kyle Busch's radio, Denny Hamlin lost the lead to William Byron in lap traffic, stuck behind John Hunter Nemechek for a couple laps too many, was able to finally get by him after losing the lead, and then quickly run down the 24 again, retake the lead, get out to that half a second lead. So Hamlin's got a very strong race car that he was able to lose the lead that quickly, kind of fall behind a bit, and then catch right back up and pass Byron within several laps. Looking at our raw feed right now, Denny Hamlin has led all but 6 laps today. That's as many as Byron was able to lead when he was out in front. So 2 lead changes in this first stage, but it's been all the 11 car, and we're already down with less than 30 laps to go in stage 1. 50 laps complete out of 400, and we are just 18 and a half minutes into the race today. So fast race pace continues. Byron with a half a second deficit to Hamlin, as mentioned already, or right around there. 1 second lead for Hamlin over Josh Berry in third. 1.4 seconds back is Austin Cindric in fourth. Ty Gibbs in fifth is 3 seconds out of the lead. 4.5 seconds back is Shane Van Gisbergen in sixth. Joey Logano in seventh is 5.4 out of the lead. Ryan Blaney in eighth, 5.8 back. Tyler Reddick in ninth, 6.7 out of the lead. And Carson Hocevar, 7.1 seconds out of the lead. He rounds out the top 10. So that's the top 10 in the running order in the early going of today's race. We'll take our first break. You're listening live. KRC do a full race live commentary stream yet again on the channel. Ty is cool. Thanks for tuning in. It's going to be a good race. It has been fun so far. Gregory Bradley, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Wood Brothers pulling out a pretty good run here in the early going with Josh Berry. Good qualifying effort. He's still up in the top 3. Great short track racer. I'm sure this extra horsepower can help a driver like him. Somebody else to look out for, Ryan Preece, who won the Clash, hasn't won an actual Cup points paying race yet. He is actually up more spots than anybody of those that started outside of the top 10. He is up 6 spots to 11th place. So he's making passes. He's won on a short track already with a little bit extra horsepower this year, and I'm kind of curious to see what's going to look like at Martinsville, probably the most similar track to that of Bowman Gray Stadium where we had the Clash this season.
Working lap 57 of 400 in Martinsville, Denny Hamlin back in command after William Byron led 6 laps. Caught Hamlin and passed him in traffic. Hamlin returned the favor. A couple more cars ahead as he works to the inside of Todd Gilliland, who under penalty lost his pit selection for that car not going through inspection the first or second time. Now let's take a look at Carson Hocevar's season. He's today's driver profile, sponsored by Chili's, currently running in 10th place. 2 top 5s, 13th in the points, average finish 16 and a half, all personal bests for him at this stage of the season.
He just progresses every year.
Biggest mover in this race is Ryan Preece. He's up 6 spots from 17th where he's
Called it.
Regan.
Well, Mike, this is something that crew chief Derek Finley talked about with me this morning with that 60 car. Disappointed with the qualifying effort. Yesterday hit the red chip and ruined both flats for him. But he said, we are going to lean on Ryan's ability to manage rear tires today, especially early, so that late in the runs we can be good. And that's evidence so far. That 60 car looking really good. Ryan's wide on the right here.
Well, Kevin, 60 laps in, that's pretty much the extent of what we saw these drivers, these teams doing in practice yesterday, starting to separate the men from the boys here on the rear grip issues.
Yeah, and what happens when that rear grip goes away? Usually it starts skating around on the entry. So as we've got 20 to go in this stage, not abnormal for this stage to run caution free. So A lot of cars, like we saw with John Hunter Nemechek, get themselves in a box and get a lap down early because they're so far off.
That being said, what I'm starting to see is these Fords are showing up. They're marching to the front. If they're taking places, I sense a little bit of the Hendrick struggles again. There's some of these Hendrick cars slipping back a little bit. Chase Elliott's one of them.
Larry Mack? Yeah, just to follow up on what Regan Smith was talking about the 60 car Ryan Craig's trying to take care of those rear tires. Like Denny Hamlin, he is not shifting. He is staying in fourth. William Byron in that 24 car running second continues to shift between third and fourth. 18 to go in the stage. Right now, 4 Fords, 3 Toyotas, 3 Chevys in position to get stage points.
We were talking about Denny Hamlin electing not to shift. I want to pull up the telemetries with him and the second place William Byron and just watch the throttle traces, their brake traces, and then obviously their gear selection up there at the top.
Yeah, and typically when you have two different situations like you do with shifting and not shifting, as you see William Byron downshift into third gear right there. And a lot of times, if your car's not turning good enough through the center of the corner, you can't run like Denny Hamlin is running. You have to downshift that car in order to make the car rotate through the center of the corner. But when it's doing what Denny Hamlin's car will do, and you don't have to make that downshift, when you downshift, it also loads everything up and also makes that car want to get loose in the corner. So really, it's hard on the entry of the corner on the right rear tire. It can be hard on the exit. Then doing what the way that Denny is doing things right now, leaving the car in fourth gear.
The other thing that I'm watching Denny Hamlin, I was listening along, you can hear his forward bike when he goes to the gas, he's got the car rotated. Obviously, he's in traffic right here, but look when the 5/8 mark, I always explain it at this racetrack, so important. And that car has to answer the call. When you lean on it that last little bit with the wheel, it has to turn left because you need the straightforward drive. If you leave and exit the corner with the wheel in it, it breaks those rear tires loose and only gets worse. When he turns that car and gets it pointed, boy, does it turn.
Hamlin passing of Austin Dillon leaves us just 25 cars on the lead lap after 68 laps.
Look at that. Just turns right underneath of him. Throttle down.
And that's what makes the good cars here that are able to rotate and stay low off the corner. Because if you can't stay low and straight off the corner, then you've got a little bit of wheel into it, and it's either going to shove the front or it's going to snap the back and spin those tires on the exit.
And it tells me, obviously, we know Denny Hamlin's good at saving tires and things like that, mention that. But if you watch behind him, William Byron is already having a diamond the corner a little bit. That tells me it's not turning quite as good as Denny Hamlin's car, your leader.
These two are over 3 seconds ahead of
his teammate
third.
Briscoe not very confident in his car. And now you see him right there. You see how squirrely that 19 is getting into the corner. And Denny Hamlin just under control and doing everything that he needs to do. But what a tale of two different stories from the same shop there.
And Chase Briscoe's had more top tens here than any other track. But 3 of the 4 Joe Gibbs Toyotas running well with Hamlin in the lead. Ty Gibbs in 5th and Christopher Bell 15th.
Yeah, since they unloaded Briscoe.
Wow, Briscoe
has been
way off.
Accustomed to seeing in that car, and that's especially Gibbs this year, 2026. Hard to believe that car's going to happen.
Yeah, and you see Ty Gibbs, he's going to take this spot from Austin Cindric, able to get that car rotated through the center of the corner. Good drive up off the exit of the corner. 4 straight top 10s. And has been in a really good spot to start this season in that 54 car in Ty Gibbs. Regan?
Well, just behind Ty Gibbs, Austin Cindric, who just got past and moved back to the mid spot, having another very good day, Kevin. Last week, of course, shook the bad luck he's fought all year long into a top 5 finish at Darlington this week. The car has been very good again. This is what momentum can do for a team. He's doing exactly what they wanted to do, score stage points and be consistent all day long. Right now, car turning better than it did yesterday in practice.
6 to go in the stage. Carson Osavar holding on to that 10th and final point-paying position in stage 1, the shortest stage of this race.
So a lot of these cars starting to slip us around a lot.
Yeah,
For real grip.
once that right rear tire dies, Clint, it just becomes you have no choice but to slow down. It will not turn in the corner. It will not turn in the middle of the corner. You can't touch the throttle.
Man, you can't get out of the way here.
You can't get out of the way, so you just have to go whatever speed it'll go, and it's really slow in that scenario when the right rear tire shuts off.
Smart trying for 9th there on Tyler Reddick. 4 to go in the stage.
Reddick held up behind the lap car, Stenhouse.
Yeah, we talked about Tyler Reddick and being right in front of Carson Hocebar. Look, the short track piece of it has to get better for this 45. I think when you look right now running P9, I feel like Tyler Reddick and I had the same experience here at Martinsville, and running P9 would actually be a pretty good day for that 45 car.
I think it was 10. Ryan Priest up 7 spots now with the Priest machine. He is rolling both RFK cars. His teammate Brad Keselowski the same way. Caution, guys.
Caution with 3 to go in the stage. And nobody is around, so we'll await word from NASCAR as to the cause. But this will put an end to stage 1.
Oh,
I think it was back there racing hard. You see the leader, Denny Hamlin. Now watch this chain reaction. See Nemechek over in the 42. 7 gets into him.
Wow.
42 gets into the 51. Around he goes. Boom, 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 boom.
that's what happens. That's what happens when that leader is in the mirror, and you start to get yourself in a situation where you're close to the end of the stage. See Denny take a quick action right there, and all those guys in front of him stack up, and 51 car spits out the other side.
From the Bob's Discount Furniture Can.
Shows you just how close things can change in a hurry, though. That was your leader right in front of him.
But trying hard to stay on the lead lap. With that spin, Cody Ware goes 2 laps down.
I feel like you can overcome a lap down pretty easy. You go 2 and 3 laps down against this competition today's day and age, you're in big time trouble.
Over.
That was Nemechek almost went 2 laps down.
So Hamlin will get his first stage win of the season.
Wow. Surprising, honestly.
And Priest will get that 10th and final spot, stage point. Denny Hamlin leads 74 of 80 laps in stage 1.
All right, good start for Denny. Stage 1 winner here today at Martinsville. A 2-second. I don't know why I was going to say that. He ends up ahead of Byron. Well, he had about a 2-second lead when the caution came out. Really started to stretch his advantage out in those last 20 to 25 laps after he retook the lead away from Byron. Byron got by in lap traffic in the middle of the stage, and then Hamlin got him back just about 6 laps later. And that's why he led 74 of the 80 laps from the pole. So those were the 2 lead changes. Stage 1 in the books in only about 30 minutes or less. And our first caution of the day is a spin for Cody Ware in the 51, which leads into the end of stage 1, as we only had about 2 laps left in the stage when the caution itself came out. So they were not going to be able to get a restart in. Top 10 in the running order, who will get points for stage 1. Obviously, Hamlin gets 10 points for winning the stage, Byron 9 for second, and 1 point on back per spot through the rest of the top 10. Josh Berry was third, Ty Gibbs fourth, Austin Cindric in fifth, and Shane Van Gisberg in sixth, Joey Logano seventh, Ryan Blaney eighth, Tyler Reddick ninth, Ryan Preece gets the final point in 10th. And we'll have our first pit stops of the day during the caution flag, and everybody will be taking on 4 fresh Goodyear tires. Topping off on fuel, and they will not have to pit for fuel purposes to the end of stage 2 because we have another short stage upcoming, only 100 laps in stage 2, though it is 20 laps longer than stage 1. It's kind of nice, though, that the first stage was like almost over. We had a natural caution coming out. So this would have brought out a yellow regardless of where we're at. What time period of NASCAR we're in. Irina Sayre, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, it's a surprise too. First stage win of the season for Hamlin. He's led quite a few laps this year. On the series, 152 laps led would be the third most, only behind Bell and Reddick, 2 other Toyota drivers. And with leading 74, that actually is going to put him all the way up into second. And he's only a couple laps led behind Christopher Bell to take the lead in the most laps led on the season so far. Hamlin dominated this race last year. He led over 200 of the 400 laps, and here this year, starting on the pole, has a very good shot of doing that yet again. He's looked to be the strongest car of those at the very front of the field, and both Byron and Hamlin were quite a ways ahead of the rest of the cars that were in the top 5 and top 10 positions. Had about a 3.5-second lead over Josh Berry with still 20 to go in the stage, and stretched that out even more. It was closer to 5 seconds by the end of it.
That's going on this year. And they're still a pretty young team. And I think that when you have that stability of everything that is going on, I think the Toyota has the best car right now. And Tyler Reddick has stepped up from a maturity standpoint, just in his leadership of the team, really exposing who he is as a driver and the capability that he has. You know as well as anybody, when you get confidence in this sport as a driver and a team, that can overcome a lot of things, just like it did this weekend for 45.
That's from the all-new Fox Sports digital show Speed with Harvick and Buxton, fueled by Poet. Subscribe on Fox on YouTube, the Fox Sports app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Jamie?
Chris Buescher's had a great couple of weeks on track, and his pit crew, they're getting the job done too. They're third overall, but what stands out to me about this bunch right here, 0 mistakes on the season.
Jake Crawl, front changer, and I enjoy doing fast pit stops. Travis Cetus, rear tire changer, and I'm from Wausau, Wisconsin.
Javon Bailey, Carrier, Iowa State, AP All-American.
Nicholas Patterson, Jack Rand, owner of Bald Eagle Street Solutions.
Bailey Walker, Fueler. This is my 19th season.
Pit crew rankings coming up here as enter Martinsville. Top by Christopher Bell.
They've been on 8 seconds.
Pretty wild. Chase Elliott. And then the 17 crew that you just met.
Well, I talked about the rubber getting built up on that racetrack. Check this out, guys.
Wow.
Look at that, Kev. There's a lot of rubber buildup being thrown under the fender well of the 11 car. That's pretty amazing. That's a lot.
Yeah, it just shreds that left front tire, and it all builds up on the top of that splitter behind the nose right there.
And also, the leader cleans the track for everybody. So he's picking stuff up as he's going around too. The marbles that are left there by just about everybody.
Pits are open.
All
Get
right.
them on quick, guys. No mistakes.
Denny Hamlin with his 9th stage win at Martinsville, most of all drivers. Justin Allgaier gets the free pass. Here they come, Jamie.
Chris Buescher comes in from 13th place, talked about his pit crew, and now they'll go to work. The pressure is on. Little too free, end up the run, but he fired off, going pretty happy with the 17 as he comes around and into his box. Meanwhile, the 24 of William Byron, pretty happy with it, but in fourth gear could not get it to rotate like the 11 and getting him lost his tires, end of the run. Regan.
Josh Barrett, the 21 car, started a little bit free. When he stopped shifting, the car got too tight, lost the rears at the end, and the 11 of your leader, Denny Hamlin, didn't need too much. He was just a little bit too loose into the corners the last 15 laps.
Smooth sailing. That winding pit road with about 10 or 12 teams pitting around the curve of turns 1 and 2. Here's a look at the race-off pit road. Denny Hamlin from the pole. Your stage 1 winner.
Hamlin wins stage 1 and also winning the race off of pit road, so he will retain the lead when we get back to racing to begin stage 2. William Byron in second, to Ty Gibbs third, Austin Cindric fourth, Josh Berry rounding out the top 5 in fifth. Sixth is going to be Joey Logano, Shane Van Gisbergen in 7th, Ryan Blaney 8th, Tyler Reddick 9th, Chase Elliott in 10th, and Christopher Bell 11th, to Carson Hocevar rounds out the top dozen. once we get into the beginning of stage number 2. Our live commentary coverage continues in our first of 2 diecast showings for today's race. We're going to do some former Martinsville race winners in the NASCAR Cup Series, and our first one will be Ryan Newman, and this is a diecast from his rookie season in 2002 in the then NASCAR Winston Cup Series. Altel Dodge for Penske Racing. Ford Taurus, sorry, at this time. I forgot Penske was not a Dodge until the following year in 2003. But there's the rookie stripes on the back of the car, indicating at that time in NASCAR that it was their rookie season. They did away with that starting last year, and I wish they brought it back. Ryan Newman. Underrated paint scheme, I feel like. Kind of basic, but I always like the Altel number 12. Back in the day. Rocket Man, Ryan Newman. Quite a few pulls here at Martinsville, as he did pretty much every other track as well. All right, so just about a quarter of the way through the race already. Austin Sullivan, thanks for tuning in. Yep, I thought it was an Altel Dodge. It was a Ford Taurus at that time in 02. Yeah, he won the 500 with Penske in the number 12. That was the powdered blue Altel Dodge. I actually like that car probably a little bit better, to be completely honest, but from a paint scheme standpoint. One of the later years of Ryan Newman at Team Penske. Well, is anybody going to be able to keep up with Denny Hamlin here today? He has dominated this race through stage 1. And as we get on into stage 2, I guess I'm just going to have to wait and see how this is going to keep on going.
Wins the first stage. Interestingly enough, it's his 6th stage win here, but he never went on to win those races at Martinsville. Something he could check off. James McMurray, I'm Chris Myers. Thanks for taking a moment with us. And a guy who's won here 9 times in his career. Where's the 7-time champ at Legacy Motors? Jimmy Johnson is with us. Great to see you.
Great to see you.
It's been a while. I know you're worried about your cars, but size up what you've seen so far. Obviously, the Denny Hamlin show. If it's not Denny, who could stop it?
Yeah, the 24 car and all the cars that Hendrick Motorsports are so right here. It's just interesting to me how much the racing has changed here. Before you could find your way by people, and in today's world and how close the cars are, it's just so tough to get track position.
Well, you mentioned it being a little bit different now. You were one of the best during our generation. What do you tell your 2 drivers coming here for advice?
You know, it's shaped so much the way you try to drive these cars with shifting, tire management. I don't really think anything I knew from the days I was here really applies. So just trying to keep their head in the game as we're trying to build our company, keep them calm. I think this point system really benefits our drivers to make the playoffs. So we got to worry about every point of the race. So.
Yeah, and ahead of the game, you've always got to keep your emotions in check, or at least we didn't see them here. It seems like we're not seeing as much of that lately, even at these grand quarters or some of the short tracks. Why is that?
Well, the day is young. Who knows what's going to happen here as time goes on. But I think when the leader gets to the lappers, we get deeper into the race. The elbows are going to come out. We're going to see a lot of exciting racing.
All right, and it's great to see you race in San Diego this year. And
Yes,
then
sir.
next the Daytona 500 on Fox. That's your final race.
In Cup. Let's not say
In
forever,
Cup.
but in Cup. I'm in the final Cup race. I have a hard time letting go. So.
Fair enough. We're all about the Cup racing. All right, let's go back to Mike and the guys.
Thanks, Chris. Trouble on pit stops. Ryan Preece, slow stop, 13 seconds, drop from 10th to 15th.
Ouch. All those spots he gained in stage 1 gone.
Exiting for Ricky Stenhouse. And a lost wheel for that blue and white car. Kyle Busch's day has gone for bad.
Oh, man.
Golly, that tire flipping down pit road like that is so dangerous. Luckily, it hit the wall right there.
Look out. Look out. Look out.
Very dangerous. Well, that's why we have those rules too. That's why they all rolled back out and got punted. That's why it's so important to try to hold these guys accountable with rules and things like that, and those tires getting away.
Yeah, and he never even tried to check up. I mean, he had to see it. He just said, my day's not going very good. I don't really care about that tire. I'm going to go ahead and floor it and knock it out of the way. And it is what it is.
So our restart lineup looks much like the starting lineup for the race.
Yeah, I didn't see a lot of change in the positioning order so far. I mean, a couple here and there. They're within a row or two of where they started for most of the top 10. But as far as the front row, it's going to stay the same. Hamlin, Byron, Hamlin on the inside. Green flag in the air, stage 2 underway here at Martinsville, and Denny Hamlin will try to get the jump, as we've seen everybody do all weekend so far in that inside line. Right now, Byron holding door-to-door with him down the back straightaway in the first lap following the restart. Going to try to pinch Denny off on corner exit, so that way Byron can get the straight line exit speed to try to do what he can to get clear of the 11. Hamlin deep on the corner entry with the braking. Allows him to pull clear off turn 2 on the second lap this time. And Ty Gibbs, Hamlin's teammate, to the inside of Byron. After Byron could not get down to the bottom quick enough, that's kind of the risk versus reward game of trying to go for the lead on the outside as long as he did. And if this battle goes on for longer than a lap, Austin Cindric might be able to get to the inside of the 24, and Byron's in danger of getting freight train. Cindric hanging on the left rear corner panel. The 24 of Byron not going to be too aggressive into turn 3 to try to get to the bottom. Gibbs is into second. Cindric going for third. And Joey Logano in the top 5 for the first time this afternoon. 3 wide further back in the pack. Connor Zilch, Todd Gillen, Kyle Busch. All battling and all a lap down. And a lot of contact up out of turn 2, as 3 wide at Martinsville would tend to bring. One caution in stage 1. It was on the second to last lap of the stage, and that's why we ended the stage under caution. We had 17 laps under yellow. That seems a bit ridiculous. Like, I get it's a half-mile short track. Why did we have 17 laps of caution for a single car spin, basically? Oh my gosh. Could have been green a little bit ago. Byron is still stuck on the outside. He's going to be more aggressive trying to get to the bottom in front of Joey Logano, but not enough room to do so because Cindric, although he was clear of the 24, wasn't that far in front of the nose of the 22. And there maybe wasn't enough room for Byron to get down there. So the only driver who's led a lap in this race despite outside of Denny Hamlin has now dropped to 5th. Finally gets in line on the inside in front of Tyler Reddick in that 5th spot. Denny Hamlin in the 11 continues to lead, but Ty Gibbs is putting a lot of pressure on him. That last lap, Gibbs actually a couple thousandths of a second quicker than the 11 car. Shane Van Gisbergen lost some time on pit road. He was 5th for most of stage 1, finished 6th, and now is 8th, battling with Christopher Bell and Ryan Blaney for position. Blaney on the inside of Bell after SVG able to get clear of the 20 car. A lot more 3-wide action further back in the pack. Stenhouse into Gregson. Allmendinger up out of the groove. Chastain just in front of them. Same for him going well up out of the groove. Stenhouse into the back of the 1. Plowing through everybody. And Noah Gregson going to go around in the mess in front of the 16 of Allmendinger. And the caution flag is going to be out again. Our second of the race, first of stage 2. Noah Gregson, a spin. And again, that was off the front of the 16 of AJ Allmendinger. Quickly gets corrected, kept it off the outside wall. No major damage. Obviously, Gregson will continue on. We had 23 cars on the lead lap at that caution. Chase Briscoe, the first car lap down, will get the free pass in 24th. And he is back on the lead lap. Or at least will be here within the next couple of laps.
Okay, watch the 4 here. Let's see what happens.
Well, I think it all started with what's beside him. Obviously, Chastain didn't get off of 2 very good. Stenhouse was his inside, got them all off the racetrack. I think Noah is kind of an innocent bystander to that.
Well, Noah kind of went up the racetrack, and Allmendinger was already there and just kind of drove over the front. But I think, like you said, the cars in front of them checked up.
It started with this. So Chastain way to the left for a big block, trying to put him. See, they come up the racetrack. He tried to check up and give him room and got run over from behind.
Yeah, I don't think
That wasn't his doing.
Yeah, there wasn't anything intentional right
No.
there. Just a lot of things happening.
Now, as that was happening, the 17 was pitting. They had a problem with the right front tire. So that will leave Chris Buescher one lap down.
Briscoe going around there, getting his lap back.
So should we blame that on Jamie Lowe?
Oh, got
Yeah.
the cars on pit road, Larry. Guys at the back need adjustments. Kyle Larson leads them in, along with Zane Smith, Brad Keselowski, Eric Jones, Michael McDowell, and Daniel Suarez pitting. 600 start for Brad, carrying the buildsubmarines.com cam. Richard Petty wanted his 600 start, so why not Brad?
Why not? And you know, the real key for this 6 team is just qualifying, right? Like they have the race pace and everything that they need. Didn't qualify good this week. Now you see this strategy. Just try to put yourself in a position where you can do something a little bit different than everybody else.
Brad Keselowski is the 36th driver in NASCAR history to reach that milestone. Get your hot dogs, folks.
Denny Hamlin, the Stage 1 winner, continues to lead in Stage 2 as well. He's led all 29 laps of the second stage. Got some lap cars on pit road now under the caution flag period. Noah Gragson with a spin off the front of the 16 of AJ Allmendinger early in Stage 2 brings out our second caution of the race. So Hamlin leading, Ty Gibbs in second, Austin Cindric third, Joey Logano fourth, William Byron fifth, and Tyler Reddick is in sixth place. Seventh is Josh Berry, Shane Van Gisbergen eighth, Ryan Blaney ninth. 10th is Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott 11th, Bubba Wallace 12th for the restart. We'll take a quick break. You're listening live on KRC. Our full flag-to-flag coverage of today's race continues. The Cookout 400 at Martinsville. The Martinsville hot dogs, I can attest, are good. I wish I had more than two when I went to Martinsville back in 2021. I didn't know that I was dead set. I was like, yep, I'm going to get 2 hot dogs for one. I waited in line so long. I was in line for a good 90 minutes to get a hot dog. I'm not kidding either. It was legit 90 minutes, and I about missed the start of the race. Would not have guessed that long line was going to take quite that long. So I highly recommend, if you are at Martinsville, get your hot dogs as soon as you get there. Because if you wait even an hour and a half before the race, you might miss the start. Actually, so what I did, I saw the start because I went up the grandstands, and then I still had to walk down to my section before going up to my seat. So I saw the start, watched the first 10 laps just from standing on the edge of the grandstands where I was in that area across from the hot dog stand. I went back underneath and then went around. So I did miss a little bit of the race because I still had to get back to my seats. But yeah, that was a long, long wait. So again, highly recommend, if you go to Martinsville, be sure to get your hot dogs as soon as you get there.
If you're needing your football fix, the United Football League is back with a new season of spring pro football. Week 2 kicks off with the champion BC Defenders facing the Columbus Aviators. Fox UFL Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. 110 laps complete, second caution of the day for Noah Gregson's spin off the front bumper of A.J. Allmendinger after there was a dust-up right in front of them. A number of cars from 16th on back made pit stops, led by Kyle Larson and Zane Smith and Brad Keselowski. So we will restart with 23 cars on the lead lap, including Chase Briscoe, the pre-pass car. Everybody else 1 lap down. Cody Ware down 2.
you see the front row right there of Denny Hamlin and Ty Gibbs work out the teammate restart. That gives Ty the bottom of the racetrack. 11 will blend in right in front of him. Good to do early in these races when everybody's just trying to put themselves in a position. But see those two Penske cars right behind them, Clinton. We talked about how good they've been on the long run. And Tyler Reddick.
Interesting to see Hamlin take the outside of row one. Nobody has really done that all weekend across any of the top series. The outside has actually really struggled. Again, the inside, not only the preferred lane, but has been able to get the jump on the restarts every time. Hamlin on the outside of row one is easily going to get clear into the first turn and get back down to the bottom. So kind of a risky move, but it does pan out. He'll continue his lead. Austin Cindric and Ty Gibbs now are going to battle for second place, and Joey Logano going to try to keep his nose tight to the back of the 54 so he can squeeze in line and potentially take third away from Cindric if Cindric cannot win the battle with Gibbs, which he does not. But Cindric with a big block at the end of the front stretch down to the bottom in front of Logano, gets in tightly in front of his teammate. And the fight for the bottom continues through the rest of the field. That fight's going to become more and more aggressive as the race wears on. Stage 1 nearly caution-free. 78 laps, our longest green flag run of the day. If we go green to the end of Stage 2 from this last restart, that will be about 67 to 68 laps. Denny Hamlin back out in front again. Big block by Shane Van Gisbergen on Josh Berry. Berry slams him from behind, but hangs on in front of the 21 and still slides up in front of the 12 clear. SVG in 7th. Blaney on the outside of Berry, going to try to get in front of the 21 car, and does so successfully. Now he's got the 97 in front of him, and a bit of bumper cars there. Blaney into the back of the 97. SVG goes up the racetrack, and then, had a little help, and now there's contact. Van Gisbergen did not like that. Middle of the front stretch just completely rained down on the 12 car. And trying to force his way back down to the bottom now in front of Josh Berry as he is tired of losing spots and getting used up. Berry stuck in line behind the 97, a little bit of a brake check moment. And Ryan Preece into the back of the 21. Things are getting testy just outside the top 10. Now Preece moved up out of the way by Bubba Wallace right in front of Chase Elliott as he makes contact with the 9. Bumper cars galore at Martinsville Speedway. As we continue to work our way through Stage 2. Guess you don't have to worry about saving your tires for the long run if there isn't going to be a long run, and we're going to continue to have cautions like we have had in abundance in yesterday's race. We haven't had the abundance of them so far today, but we've seen our fair share over the weekend entirely already. Kyle Larson, by the way, worth noting, the highest in the running order of those that hit pit road during this last caution, and he is in 14th. Slightly fresher tires than those in front of him. We'll see if he can get up there. He was running just outside the top 10 for most of this race. So only lost a few positions of being the first of the cars onto pit road when he did pit. Going to be halfway through Stage 1 here, or Stage 2 here shortly. Got 100 laps in the second stage. And this time by already going to work our way to lap 43. Lap 122 of 400 in total.
Sacrifice of some good track position. We're kind of right there on the backside of that anyway. Let's get the times on, see what we can do the best in front. Regan?
Well, Flint, just to follow up on what you were just saying there, that front of the race, Larson wins. Racetrack just didn't have the grip that he wanted, but those 9 laps that we fired off after the stage break, he actually liked it. That was purely a strategy play. Check with the team. That was strictly to get tires and do something different there.
Up in 6th place, Ryan Blaney moves up. He has passed Tyler Reddick to get into the top half dozen. But as you said at the top of the show, Kevin, you got to come from the back here. That's all. Much taller order than it was, say, at Darlington or Las Vegas.
Yeah, and Kyle, as we watch Kyle Larson here use those fresh tires to get back to the front of the pack. I mean, the thing that we got from the 12 car, we got to have pit stops all day long because you are not going to the back unless something like a Larson situation where you have fresh tires and you drive back through.
Guys, last week, not very good. Joey Logano 3 laps down, race his way 3 laps down. This week, we're running right at the front and we're laying some nice lap times down. Keep an eye on Joey Logano.
Yeah, right now, the Penske cars, you've got Logano 3rd, Cindric 4th, Blaney 6th. Josh Berry still up there in that Wood Brothers car in 9th. So pretty good day from these Fords.
And at 8th place, Shane Van Gisbergen, and this is the most laps that SVG has ever run in the top 10 in a Cup race.
All right, Denny Hamlin, the current race leader, still leading. Obviously, right now, over 100 laps led easily in the race today. Ty Gibbs, his teammate, sits in second. Joey Logano third. Austin Cindric in fourth. And William Byron rounding out the top 5 in fifth. Sixth is Ryan Blaney. Seventh is Tyler Reddick. Shane Van Gisbergen eighth. Josh Berry ninth. And 10th is Bubba Wallace. Kyle Larson in 11th. Christopher Bell 12th. Ryan Preece 13th. Chase Elliott 14th. And 15th is Ross Chastain. Zane Smith in 16th, 17th is Carson Hocevar, Daniel Suarez 18th, Brad Keselowski 19th, and Eric Jones in 20th. Michael McDowell 21st, Justin Allgaier 22nd, 23rd is Chase Briscoe, the last car in the lead lap. Kyle Busch first car lap down in 24th, and Riley Herbst 25th, Ty Dillon 26th, Connor Zillage 27th, Noah Gragson 28th, Todd Gilliland 29th, and 30th is Austin Dillon. AJ Allmendinger 31st, 32nd Chris Buescher, Austin Hill 33rd, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 34th, Jonathan Nemechek 35th, 36th is Cole Custer, and Cody Ware rounds out the 37-car field. 2 cautions, nobody out of the race, everybody on track, and again, 23 cars on the lead lap. 2 lead changes, only 2 leaders, Hamlin and Byron. Byron led for 6 laps. Denny Hamlin has led the other 126 in today's race. We're still a little bit under an hour from the drop of the green flag to where we're at right now, lap 131 of 270. 2 cautions both for incident, one at the end of stage 1 and then one early in stage 2. 24 laps of caution for the 2 incidents. So that's a little race analysis just after stage 1. We'll take a look at our chat poll. 125 votes have been casted. 48% of you say somebody other than Hamlin, Byron, or Blaney will get the win. Those are my 3 pre-race favorites for today. Hamlin leads the way in this race, and he's got 27% of the votes. 12% for Byron, 13% of you taking Blaney. The 11 is the driver to beat right now. Ty Gibbs, 0.8 of a second back in that second spot. 1.1 second difference to Logano in third. Cindric, 1.5 seconds out of the lead in fourth. And Blaney, 2 seconds back in fifth are the intervals of those top 5.
Welcome back to the Cookout 400 at Martinsville Speedway. Denny Hamlin leading 127 of the 134 laps so far. Ty Gibbs in second, Joey Logano, Austin Cindric, Ryan Blaney. First Chevy is William Byron in 6th. Aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear. Tried, tested, proven, legendary.
That water tower looks like Larry's belt when he's down there covering the pits, all of his radios on it.
Denny Hamlin at a 2015, even on cruise control. The second fastest car that last lap, Ryan Blaney, who has moved up to 5th now, was quickest. Now, Chris Buescher was pitting when the caution came out at lap 105. What was the issue, Jamie?
Yeah, there was an issue with the lap and so after that initial stop, they got those fresh tires on. He felt something wrong with the right front. They discovered that a bolt had gotten in between the brake caliper and the wheel, and you see the damage inside this wheel. He had a vibration, they had to fit again, and yet again. So they've come down 4 times, and that's why he's back and back, guys, lap down.
Qualifying drivers with a lead lap finish in every race this year, and 3 of those 5 drivers are Buescher and his teammates in RFK.
They are never letting Jamie Little in their hauler again.
Oh, the pre-race meeting?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
To cover the pit crew and the hauler. They've been solid though, and I think that's just unfortunate timing, but you just never can.
You push it hard, bud.
Yeah.
Pushing really hard.
I think this 9 car right here is still pretty good. I know that he's fallen back a little bit to start this race, and we have really high expectations when we started the race because Chase Elliott was so good in practice yesterday. And it looks like they've made a couple adjustments. Lap times look a lot better right now, but he's got some traffic to work through.
Now getting back just ahead of where he restarted, passing Bubba Wallace. We've got Bubba's radio.
There's nothing more frustrating than being told what to do from a bunch of people who have no idea what they're doing. It's just the era that we live in, right?
Mike,
Because I heard look at the data and they tell you what they see.
That's right. They didn't look at his hands in that wheel in the car, though, cranked all the way left. It's exactly, I knew as soon as he said that, I knew what he was going to say. Watching the Toyota Racing Cam, Bubba Wallace, currently 13.
It's so funny because I tell Keelan, my son, all the time, I said, Bud, the thing that you better realize about today's racing world is you have to be able to be critiqued constantly and not get frustrated from it because they're trying to help you. But as a driver, you just, you're frustrated in there and you just don't want to hear it sometimes.
Or you could just spend a day on social media.
Yeah.
Hey, Keelan won yesterday, huh?
He did, yeah. They raced the Cars Tour West race in Vegas and had a good night last night. Kept me up too late.
Denny Hamlin's now led 138 laps, putting on a clinic here in Martinsville. Regan?
Well, Mike, interesting conversation earlier today with both Denny Hamlin's crew chief, Denny Hamlin's crew chief, Chris Gale, and the 54 crew chief for Ty Gibbs of Tyler Allen. Different strategies in practice yesterday. Denny Hamlin went out and tried to conserve tire to see what at the end of the run. The 54 car went out and tried to go as hard as he could, as early as he could, so that he would understand how much it would fall off. Obviously, we're both these cars right now. As you see, Ty Gibbs running in second place. Loves the adjustments they made after the first stop and really getting to learn from his teammate Denny Hamlin in front of him right now.
1.7 seconds off the lead. Well, Joey Logano. Larry.
Yeah, I've been watching Kyle Larson in that 5 car, and there were about 35 laps into this run since he's changed those tires. When he's not dealing with traffic, what those fresh tires allow him to do, the only advantage I see, which is huge, he's able to pick the throttle up both ends and stay in it a lot more even than leader Denny Hamlin. Again, those little bit fresher tires.
Liam Todd Gill, one of the biggest movers since the restart.
I'm starting to see a lot more rubber build on the racetrack, much like we saw in that stage 1 and towards the end of it. And these cars starting to have trouble with rear grip. Obviously, those tires on the 5 that Larry just called us about, he's moving up through the field, making some big gains. Blaney, I've got my eye on him, watching with Blaney.
And I see right there,
with a Ford Racing Cam.
Josh Berry moving up the racetrack right there. And I think that works good. Really on either end, I like it. I like it more in 3 and 4 because you're going to see that there's a patch like 5/8, 3/4 of the way around, but it allows that car to just grab it right there to be able to get it pointed and get some grip up off the corners. So a lot of things that you can do to move around the racetrack, try to get around that rubber. But you're right, Clint. There's a lot of rubber on the racetrack.
Denny Hamlin back in traffic. John Hunter has not been an easy car to pass today. And he gets a little bumper tag there. We used to call it the chrome horn, but those bumpers aren't chromed anymore.
Nope. Still like the name, though.
29 to go in stage 2. Denny Hamlin leading teammate Ty Gibbs. Then the Fords of Logano, Sigrid, and Blaney.
All right, Denny Hamlin out in front. We'll go through the rest of the top 10, the intervals between those positions. Ty Gibbs is 9/10 of a second out of the lead in second place. Joey Logano 1.8 seconds back in third. Austin Cindric 2.2 out of the lead in fourth. And Ryan Blaney 2.6 seconds out of the lead in fifth. William Byron in sixth is 3.3 back. Tyler Reddick 5.6 back in seventh. Eighth place is Shane Van Gisbergen, 5.9 seconds out of the lead. Josh Berry 6.7 seconds back in ninth. And Kyle Larson 6.8 seconds out of the lead in 10th. He just gained the most position since the restart, 6 spots gained, but he does have slightly fresher tires than everybody else in front of them. Track position hard to come by here today. No surprise in a next-gen race at Martinsville. We have seen this before, and we'll have to monitor how that's going to be the rest of the way. You're listening live on KRC. We're going to take another break as our full flag-to-flag coverage continues here this afternoon at the Paperclip. Adventures, thanks for tuning in. For Enrico Sanchez, Matthew Dorda Bruno, for Christopher McComas, God Rides a Harley. I haven't shouted any of you out yet. Thank you for tuning in yet again here this afternoon. Thank you so much for watching. As always, on these live commentary streams every NASCAR race weekend. We're live for the NASCAR Cup Series race in 2 weeks' time at Bristol. That will be the next live commentary stream for a Cup race. Practice and qualifying the Saturday before that Bristol race, as the NASCAR Cup Series will be off Easter Sunday next week on the channel. Again, Easter Sunday going to be off for the NASCAR Cup Series next weekend. O'Reilly and Truck Series coverage will continue on Saturday with a doubleheader for themselves, and they will be at Rockingham with a standalone event. Cup Series does not go to Rockingham Speedway, but we'll see a couple races in the lower series. Cletus McFarland's supposed to be running the O'Reilly race. They turn a couple of heads to see what goes on, and Talladega coming up just a couple weeks after that. So we're down to 20 laps to go in Stage 2. Even with the two cautions with the very end of Stage 1 and early in Stage 2, this race is going by quickly. We're almost halfway through the race, 1 hour, 8 minutes in. Well on pace for the fastest race of the season. Hamlin still working his way through some lap traffic at the tail end of the field. AJ Allmendinger, he's working through right now, and AJ already a lap down in the 16 car. Currently AJ in 32nd place. Because of the early caution in this stage, it's going to lead for a shorter green flag run than what we had for the majority of Stage 1. Don't think he's going to be able to get all the way up to Chase Briscoe in 23rd and lap him again. A lot of rubber being laid down on the racetrack all day long. Despite the fact that we've seen a lot of chunking of the tires, a lot of the tire itself kind of coming off and wearing through the corner, we haven't seen a ton of time fall off. It kind of dips in those first 20 to 30 laps, and then it flatlines after that. That last lap by Hamlin was a 20.779. It's only 1 second off of his fastest lap of the race, so we've gone more than 50 laps into this run. Obviously, compared to Darlington last week with the 750 horsepower and a much more rough and rigid racetrack by way of tire wear and older surfacing. Definitely didn't see it there. Concrete corners here at Martinsville definitely helps with a little bit extra grip versus if it was asphalt, I think they'd be sliding around a little bit more. Kind of like we've seen at North Wilkesboro in the last couple of races there, even though that is more of a newly repaved, shorter asphalt oval. Thanks for that comment, Christopher. Hate that Chase struggles to get stage points every week. Yeah, he just he hasn't qualified well consistently, and it seems like when he does, he fades further back in the running order, but he's had great finishes this season, and that's why he's top 5 in points right now. Mr. Consistent. 3 top 10s, 2 top 5s on the season, and only 34 stage points, which is the least amount of any driver that is inside the top 8 in points. The only driver in the top 10 in points with less stage points than Chase is Keselowski. We know his qualifying struggles this year, and that was even with a stage win a week ago for Brad. Stu Isaac, welcome to the stream. Got over 150 people in the chat. I think we had a little over 170 before we took our last break. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Our goal is to get to 150 likes for these Cup Series race streams. Right now, as we're almost halfway through the race, we are past halfway to our goal of likes. We're at 85, make that 86 likes now. And now I'm looking at the concurrent viewers, we're actually up about 200. So again, thank you all for watching. Be sure to hit that like button, helps these streams out a ton. Subscribe for more NASCAR content. We're on the road to 8,000 subs on the channel. Just eclipsing that 7,000 mark just a couple weeks ago. Can anybody beat Denny Hamlin, who has just put a beating on the field so far in the first 170 out of 400 laps in today's race? He's led all but 6 of them. He also has the fastest lap for that bonus point award as well. That was set back on lap 3 with a 19.788 second lap time. Ty Gibbs was looking pretty good in stage 1, passing cars on the top 5, got the second, but he's been no match for his teammate to this point. And the 3 Penske Fords of Logano, Cindric, and Blaney, kind of that second-tier team behind the top 2 JGR Toyotas, they are running 3rd through 5th, and we obviously saw them lead a ton of laps, and all were quick in a cohesive unit, just like they are this week on a flat short track oval like Phoenix just a few weeks ago. Though we just haven't seen quite as much tire fall off today as what we did in that race, and I think not being able to have that long run speed because of the less amount of fall off is really helping these Toyotas of Gibbs and Hamlin out. Gibbs continuing his stretch of the best of his career, really. He's finished in the top 6 in the last 4 races, 3 top 5s in that stretch before the 6th last weekend at Darlington. He has not yet won in the NASCAR Cup Series, but he hasn't had a streak of that consistently good finishes yet in the first 3 full-time Cup Series seasons. This is the beginning of his 4th. Is he finally going to break through? You put yourself up in front of the field week to week to week, and sometimes you're just going to fall into a win. Maybe this week is the week. I mean, yes, Hamlin's dominated, but all it takes is one bad pit stop. If we get a late caution, Gibbs can strike on that and maybe go out here and get his first career win. We have not seen somebody break through for their first career win in the Cup Series in quite some time. We did not have any last season, if I could recall. I believe Shane Van Gisbergen the year before at the Chicago Street Race would have been the last time we saw somebody win their first career Cup race. My bad, Josh Berry won his first race at Vegas last year. See, I was trying to think back in my head if I was correct making that statement. Now, we had one different winner in each of the last 2 seasons. So 2 years ago, it was SVG in the Chicago Street Race. Last year, it was, in fact, Josh Berry in the spring Las Vegas race. Joe Gibbs got to be liking what he's seeing, at least out of the 11 car. Hamlin having to go to the outside to get by some of these lappers, and he did actually catch Chase Briscoe, which I'm quite surprised that he did catch the 23rd place car, but though because Briscoe got the free pass, he had to restart behind the longest line of cars. Austin Cindric, William Byron side by side after Cindric just lost a spot to Blaney. 24 car trying to work himself back up into the top 5 after losing all those positions early on that last restart. Just kind of settled in 6th place and sitting behind the Penske Fords, not letting him drive away, and he gets one of those spots back on Cindric off turn 2 this time by. I don't know if he's going to catch Blaney with 1 lap to go in the stage, but there is lap traffic in front of both the 22 and the 12 who are nose to tail in front of the 24. Over a second lead now for Denny Hamlin as he works his way out of turn 2, down the backstretch and into 3. Hamlin will sweep the first 2 stages here today, his first 2 stage wins of the season. Dominating the laps led category as he continues to dominate the race itself. Hamlin wins stage 2, Ty Gibbs 2nd, Joey Logano 3rd, Ryan Blaney 4th, and William Byron in 5th. Austin Cindric 6th, 7th for Tyler Reddick, Shane Van Gisbergen 8th, Kyle Larson 9th, Josh Berry rounds out our top 10. So those are all the drivers getting their stage points in today's race. Coming into the race itself, Denny Hamlin only had 31 stage points this season. Least of the drivers in the top 5 in points, and getting 20 of them today obviously going to help him out in those regular season standings. He was 4th in points coming into the day, but he was only 2 points out of 3rd. on Bubba Wallace, who got 0 stage points this afternoon, so he's already looking well on his way to get into third. And Ryan Blaney, although he has scored stage points in the first 2 stages, not a lot, enough so that Hamlin now with a win today would move into second in points after outscoring Blaney in both stages. So be fitting Denny Hamlin's car is first in points and he would be sitting second. Could you imagine all the ways that Denny Hamlin has lost a championship in his NASCAR Cup Series career if he loses one via his own car beating him for the championship? I think he would be okay with that one, though, of all the ways to possibly lose a championship. That would be the one to not be as bad as the rest. All right, so Stage 2 in the books at Martinsville. Only 1 hour and 17 minutes to finish the first 2 stages of today's race. Again, this race is just flying by. Taking out that 100 laps in the spring Martinsville race, I mean, it's went from a race that was like already somewhat short, depending on how many cautions they get. If it'd be a race that didn't yield a lot of cautions, it would go by quick, but it was also a race that could have a lot of yellows because it is Martinsville. And it would lead into a long race, so it's kind of hit or miss. But with the 400 laps, I mean, regardless of how many yellows we get, it's going to be under 3 hours. And today it's looking like it might even be under 2.5 with the way things are looking. All right, so pit road is going to be open here in the next lap or two under the caution flag period. Yes, we will have the diecast showing. I'm going to wait till after pit stops to show off the second diecast of the stream. We'll end the chat poll for right now, though, as we have reached the end of stage 2. 46% of you taking somebody other than Hamlin, Byron, or Blaney for the win. Hamlin, 28% of the votes, dominating the race. He was my pick to win. Byron, 14%, 12% for number 12, Ryan Blaney. 146 of you voted for the race winner today.
And the Fords be kind of hit or miss. On those weeks where they're not running good, they're losing points. And I still am, pretty firm that you got to be in that top 6 to win this championship when the points reset.
Every Tuesday and Thursday for the #1 podcast hosted by a NASCAR Hall of Fame nominee. That's a Kevin Harvick's Happy Hour.
That's a new one.
Pretty big day, buddy.
Has been a big day.
Very, very cool. Hey, how about Darlington, where NASCAR Vice President Ben Kennedy and his staff put their business cards and hard cards in their pockets, bought tickets, sat in the stands, soaked up the atmosphere, figured it out, talked to the fans. I mean, that's awesome.
That's great. And that's how you know. How do you know what your product is unless you go out there and experience it, in my opinion. And I'm so glad that they go out and made that step and learned firsthand. I don't want to have a survey to tell me that. I'll go out and experience it myself. I remember back in the day, Mike Kelly used to get on golf carts all the time and drive around through the infield and see what people are interested in, what's working, what's not. That's what it takes.
Well, great initiative, and they said they learned a lot, found some things that could be improved, made a lot of notes. All right, end of stage 2 pit stops, and all the lead lap cars will be in. Jamie.
And Joey Logano in the 22 pits from third, said tight to fire up just like the last run. Wants to focus though on the drive off, wants to help out with a little air pressure and 4 tires. See William Byron in the 20. The car is good to be a little bit more secure on entry so we can be a little more aggressive at both ends of the track. Regan.
Ty Gibbs in the 54 car was very good. That run just a little bit tight center. Didn't think he wanted any changes. So in the 11 to Denny Hamlin reminded to pit just a little further away from the wall. Ended that run a little tighter than he did the first run, but not.
Hamlin's going to lead Joey Logano. And Ty Gibbs off pit road after a fill-up of Sunoco race fuel with Poet zero carbon bioethanol.
William Byron,
Gibbs wasn't that trouble. Denny Hamlin, for the 9th time, has swept the stages.
9-time sweep of the stages. We'll see if he can get a race win to go along with it. Remember, he's just 2 away from Kyle Busch for 9th all-time on the NASCAR Cup Series wins list. And we already actually saw this weekend Hey, one of the greats in a particular NASCAR series, Justin Allgaier, moving to tie for 6th all-time after winning at Martinsville yesterday and getting his 3rd win of the young season. So job well done there for Allgaier, and we'll see if Denny Hamlin can get his 2nd win of 2026. This guy doesn't slow down. I thought Kevin Harvick was that guy that was great at winning races later in his career, and I think Denny Hamlin might have something even more so to say there. I think the adaptation to a new car as late in Denny's career compared to, say, Harvick, who, when he got to the next gen, he won 2 more races, but he had that first year in 2022, the next gen, where he went winless, and then 23 he was able to rattle off a couple of them, and then obviously 2024 is final season in Cup also went winless, where Denny Hamlin, he's just been winning races every year in this car like nothing. And he's been in his 40s the entire time. So here he is, mid to late 40s, and still at the top of his game in the NASCAR Cup Series. It's really remarkable, all things considered, that he's able to stay that sharp behind the wheel and keep himself in this thing. And obviously in the hunt for the championship early on to start the season. And that was even with a pretty poor performance at COTA, where he didn't get any stage points and ran outside the top 10 the whole day. So knowing that there aren't any road courses in the chase, I think is going to help him. And there's only 3 more to go the rest of the season in general. He's got some catching up to do to win that regular season championship on Reddick, who had won a regular season championship just 2 years ago. Made the championship 4 that year. And I could see how deep that could potentially take him this season, and having 4 wins to start off. We'll see if he can hold on. Long ways to go yet. Even after today, still, with this being the 7th race of the season, still going to have 29 races to go to decide things out. 19 races left in the regular season side of things. So after the race off pit road, when we begin stage 3, Hamlin will be the leader. Joey Logano has now jumped up to 2nd after beating Gibbs for a spot off pit road. Gibbs is now 3rd, Ryan Blaney 4th, Austin Cindric 5th. Kyle Larson gained a few spots in the pits as well. He is now up to 6th place.
Where the Hall of Fame nominating committee got together and put together a list of the 10 nominees that'll go in front of the Hall of Fame vote that's coming up in May for the 2027 class. And on his first year of eligibility, they let me tell Kevin Harvick how he's behaved.
So very much.
I'm glad I was around watching your career start and finish.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Well, from up here, we saw that look of surprise on your face. And did I see a tear?
I was struggling all day, honestly. I was crying before we even got started, but no, that's a great moment, and I think that to have Mike Helton deliver that news means a lot to me, because he's been a father figure for so many of us in this sport for so long. Been such a key element of what made NASCAR what it is today. But to have him deliver that news and have that Hall of Fame nominee out there is pretty cool.
Well, my favorite is that maybe he didn't know what to say. He was speechless.
I feel like I get set up on our shows more than anywhere else that I go, for sure. So here's the 10 nominees for this year's class.
Well, a hell of a list, Kevin. 2 will be elected, and the vote is 2 days after we end our Fox part of the season at Dover with the All-Star race. All right, today, Denny Hamlin starting from the...
That's a tough class to pick just 2.
He's put on a clinic.
Harvick and who else?
We knew that he qualified on the pole, had the first pit box, and knowing the success that he's had at this particular racetrack, that he was going to be hard to beat.
Well, he's just got this confidence about him. Everything's smooth sailing around him, and Toyota, the teammates. But I'm going to tell you, somebody's going to give him trouble, and I think Roger Penske's going to be a part of that. I got to sell the Penske organization because they're all fast. But this car right here, ladies and gentlemen, Logano finally in 2nd, going to line up on his outside. Let's see what he's made of.
Long-time rivals.
Right? Like, you had a miserable week last week at Darlington. You get lapped 3 times, and now you come back the next week here at Martinsville and put yourself on the front row to start stage 3.
Now, a couple drivers had trouble, Larry, on their pit stops. Yeah, William Byron, you're going to see him come in. There's going to be issues when they get to the left side. They didn't get the left side up, and he couldn't get the left front off. That was a 61, goes from 5th to 13th.
Ty Gibbs as well. He only lost one spot. Someone else that lost several spots, Tyler Reddick, 14-9, went from 7th to 15th. Good road, not good for a lot of them that stop by.
And we've seen it so many times this year.
Meanwhile, the best pit crew in the sport, and that is Christopher Bell's. They went from 12th to 8th on their stunt.
Yeah, great job done there. Green flag back in the air. Logano spins the tires on the restart a bit on the outside of row 1. Hamlin should be clear in the middle of 1 and 2, and already 3 wide just outside the top 10 between Zane Smith, Tyler Reddick, and Brad Keselowski, and a lot of contact between those 3 cars out of 2 into 3. Brad trying to hold on strong and does not want to be in the outside of 3 wide because he is in danger of losing a lot of positions if he can even really get out of here scot-free without any kind of an incident. Gibbs and Logano still battling hard for second with Ryan Blaney in the rearview mirror. Longer these two battle for second. Denny Hamlin's going to be able to potentially get that jump and get quite a ways out ahead of these leaders behind him. Diecast showing, as I kind of missed that during the end of stage 2 there, another former Martinsville race winner, Dale Jarrett, and he actually won a race at Martinsville with this very paint scheme in his days at Robert Yates Racing. This is his UPS Ford Taurus, and this is actually from 2002, the very year in which he won a race at Martinsville. So, 2002 Dale Jarrett. Figured I'd show up this diecast for today's stream. Jared had some good paint schemes back in the day. That original Interstate Battery scheme, underrated, I think, back in his Joe Gibb Racing days. And then obviously between this and the number 88, the blue, beautiful blue race car that he had. Kind of blanking on the sponsor. I apologize for that. I was about to say Credit One Bank, but it's a different, it's a different credit union. Not Credit One Bank. I've heard that too many times in recent years in NASCAR. Final lap of the race. Side draft Moonshiner, 6 for tuning in. Bad Brad. Yeah, Brad on the move. Slowly but surely. Was inside the top 15. That restart set him back, being on the outside of 3 wide. He's now back to 19, so he lost a few extra spots. A little less than 200 laps to go as we've reached halfway, and Denny Hamlin has dominated again, the second consecutive Martinsville spring race in which he has been able to do so. Hamlin leading Ty Gibbs, Joey Logano in 3rd, Ryan Blaney 4th, Austin Cindric rounds out the top 5 in 5th, and you got Kyle Larson 6th, 7th is Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott 8th, 9th is William Byron, and Shane Van Gisbergen still holding on to 10th as he's been top 10 all day today. Qualified 5th and kind of slowly slides back a spot or two every stage, but he's still holding on for right now, looking for a top 10 finish. Christopher Bell looking better than ever, getting a spot on the restart. 4 of them in the pits in 7th and putting a lot of pressure on the 6th place driver, Kyle Larson, who also gained quite a few spots on pit road during that last stop at the end of stage 2. Bell widening the arc out quite a bit through turns 1 and 2. I thought he was going to try to get to the outside of Larson because of how wide he did go. Now he's instead just going to push Larson up out of the way, a lot of which contact was made between the 5 and the 20 as the 20 of Bell's getting held up a ton. Chase Elliott going to sneak to the inside of his teammate Larson next. And Larson down to the bottom in front of the 9 car, and a few Hendrick Motorsport cars nose to tail there. Larson, Elliott, and Byron in the back half of the top 10. Cohesively, this is the best we've seen HMS all day. Although Byron had led laps early and was second at the end of stage 1, so not necessarily as high in the running order as they would like, but 3 of their cars are in the top 10. And a place like Martinsville, a track where we know they have had success in the past. 4 next-gen wins here alone. 3 by Byron, including last fall, and 1 by Larson. 3 of the 4 400-lap spring Martinsville races since this race was reduced to 100 laps in length for the spring date have been won by both Byron and Larson. Elliott, a former winner here in the Gen 6 era back in 2020 in the fall of that season. '48 car beating on Keselowski for 19th. Allgaier wanting to get up in the mix as well. Tail end of the lead lap. He was a lap down at the end of stage 1. Had the free pass there and has kind of worked himself in the running order up a little bit. He's able to stay on the lead lap to the end of stage 2 again. So Chase Briscoe actually got the free pass for the second consecutive caution. He had that early in stage 2 and then got the free pass, fell lap down, got the free pass at the end of stage 2 again. He's in 23rd. Chris Buescher in 17th actually took the wave around, so he is on much older tires than the leaders. He's the last car in the lead lap, currently in 24th. He needs a quick caution to try to get back on strategy. Fuel window will open in about another 30 to 40 laps to make it to the end of this race. So if we get a decent green flag run and a caution, we should see the entire field come onto pit road. And then from there, it's going to be a guessing game as to whether you pit or not for later cautions in this race to come. And that will be interesting to follow along with. Lap 3 for Hamlin, still the fastest lap, 19.788. And there's only been 2 drivers, I believe, to run a sub 20-second lap time today. And that would be the top 2 in the running order, because Ty Gibbs at lap 197, which was the beginning of stage 3 here after getting to second, put down his fastest lap at 19.98. But still about 2/10 off of Hamlin's best lap. Hamlin good on the short run and the long run. That's always scary. It's one thing to be good on a long run, or it's one thing to be good on the short run, but when you're good on both, like Denny Hamlin has been this afternoon, look out, field. I think many people are probably going to think of this as being kind of a stinker race, but honestly, like, yes, Hamlin is stinking up the show. I've seen a lot of good short track racing today. It's just one guy is just putting a beating on the field. You just got to respect it at that point. Pace is still looking pretty fast as well. That hasn't really dipped off hardly at all. Three cautions so far today, 2 for incident, and the end of stage 2, obviously the non-incidental caution at lap 180. Fuel window in that 160 to 170 green flag lap ballpark. So they can't make it on fuel all the way to the end of this stage. And I'm curious, if we do go green for about 100 laps here, are we going to see green flag pit stops? We've seen them at Martinsville in the past, but it is such a risk. Because even the leader, Denny Hamlin, is going to end up going a lap down to say he's one of the cars to pit for a short amount of time, with this being such a long pit road stretching almost the entire length around this half-mile racetrack. Briscoe and Reddick are really the 2 guys I feel have turned it up over the last 2 seasons. Yeah, and Ty Gibbs this season has turned it up. I think from progression one year to the next in the first 6 races, which is a small sample size, I think Ty Gibbs has looked like he has taken the biggest step forward from 2025 to 2026 this season. I mean, he's looking for his 4th top 5 finish in the first 7 races of the year. It's just been overshadowed because Tyler Reddick has won a bunch of races. And because Gibbs hasn't gotten to victory lane yet, he does have 2 drivers right around him who have already gotten the win this year. Hamlin and Blaney, the only 2 drivers to win outside of Reddick. Reddick, meanwhile, outside of the top 10 currently, he's in 15th as far back in the running order as he has been this afternoon. He was up in the top 10 for brief moments earlier in the race, but not anymore. Qualified 7th, was top 10 at the end of stage 1, but not stage 2, and fell behind on pit road in this last restart again as well. 1.1 second lead for Hamlin over Gibbs. 1.6 seconds to Ryan Blaney in 3rd. 2.2 seconds to Austin Cindric in 4th. And 2.6 second lead over Joey Logano in 5th. That's the top 5 in the running order. And the intervals between those top 5 spots. Still 180 laps left. I know it's not a long time by Martinsville standards, but still a lot of laps. Kyle Busch's struggles continue as he battles for the free pass position with Todd Gilliland. Would have been if Chris Buescher didn't just go a lap down after taking the wave around. Buescher can still make this race on 1 pit stop. Obviously, he was just trying to get a lap back there and has struggled mightily compared to his teammates in this race. being a lap down. Ryan Preece has been by far the best RFK Ford, flirting with the top 10 most of the afternoon. Well, 6 and 17 have been buried pretty much about 19th or worse in the running order. And as for Busher, again, he's just been a lap down for a long time. Try kind of a Hail Mary strategy to get that quick caution early in stage 3 like we did in stage 2. It just didn't happen this time. Hey, Charlie D, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to put in another poll in the chat of who will win based off of just over the first half of this race. And the question is going to be Denny Hamlin or the field. Can anybody beat Denny Hamlin today, basically? And I'm curious to know what you guys think of the chat. Be honest with your answers as well. I know, Denny's a very polarizing driver. But just based off of what we've seen today, I mean, he by far has been the best race car, short and long run. Can anybody beat him? And we saw Byron get past him in lap traffic for about 6 laps in stage 1 because Hamlin was stuck behind Nemechek for numerous laps. It did help that Byron was within a second of Hamlin at that point in the run as well. Ryan Blaney may be coming to life on this long run at the beginning of stage 3. He's putting a lot of pressure on Gibbs for second. Blaney, a 2-time winner. He has won 2 fall races, though. Has not won a 400-lap spring race yet in the next-gen era. 2 of the best in the NASCAR Cup Series when it comes to long-run speed, especially in this next-gen era. I mean, it is the 11 and the 12, so it would not be shocking to see those 2 kind of settle the score here today for the race win. I think that'd be a fun watch. Man, Gibbs wrecked his teammate. First career win. That'd be interesting. Alpine fan, thanks for tuning in. How about SVG? Yeah, he's had a great day today. Great weekend because he qualified well yesterday. Again, 5th place. That kind of set him up for a good run. He's still holding on strong in 10th. Got beat around a little bit there by Blaney, and there was somebody else that kind of got into him back in stage 2 on a restart as well, but he's still holding on strong. There's no tie-in teammate. That's good. Chris Buescher, after taking the wave rounds on pit road for a green flag stop, the fuel window is open to make it to the end of the race. So that's why he's pitting now to not give up as much time on those old tires. So now he's hoping to make lap time up. So when the field cycles through green flag pit stops, he can actually get his lap back for a short bit before, obviously, on the older tires, it will likely end up a lap down again. But that's the strategy play for the 17 team to try to do whatever they can to get back on the lead lap. We'll see if this brings anybody else in, but I don't think so. He was the only driver of the lap cars that actually tried the strategy of taking the wave around. They would have tried it back in stage 1 going into stage 2. It would have worked out perfect, but it was one stage too late, unfortunately. And Briscoe, who is now the last car in the lead lap, he's trying to get going. Past Suarez. Now actually Suarez is the last car in the lead lap. They're about 15.5 to 16 seconds off the lead. Last lap by Hamlin was a 20.686, so they're within a quarter of the track ahead of the 11 car.
Alex Palou, Joseph Newgarden take it to the streets in the Long Beach Grand Prix. The road to the Indy 500 continues April 19th, only on Fox. Jamie, the Tyler Reddick pit stop, looking at the video, looks even more bizarre than Larry described.
Yeah, Mike, if you're a rodeo fan, this will make sense to you. The word lasso. Now we're going to watch the front changer of Brad Keselowski's car. He steps over the wall and steps through the hose over Tyler Reddick's rear changer. So when he goes down to change the tire, he can't pull his hose. Tremendous time. So Brad Keselowski's guy got on good. No, he was last, but he was able to execute that pit stop. But it cost Tyler Reddick 8 positions.
Guess that's not quite carrying equipment out of the box, since you didn't carry it there.
Nope.
It wasn't your equipment.
A lot of crazy things happen on that pit road.
Brad is 18, 13 seconds off the lead. But still on the lead lap. Denton Swoops is the last car on the lead lap in 23rd. See John Hunter Nemechek on pit road. Chris Buescher also made an unscheduled pit stop and is now 2 laps down. Blaney's drawing a bead on Ty Gibbs. He's just about a car length and a half back as they work traffic here.
Yeah, and that gap had kind of stabilized right there, but now they're going through lap traffic, and that's really when things can change.
And that's where I expected him to change for a driver with less experience like Gibbs. But I'm so impressed with how he's handling traffic like absolute veteran. He's as good as anybody out there. That car is dangerous fast, 54.
Gibbs, a former winner here in O'Reilly Series action.
The race where nobody has enough grip. Listen into this radio remix.
Like, what's the problem? Now it's exactly the practice, just go right rear.
I don't have any rear grip, and then there's nothing where I pick up height too, but mainly rear grip is the issue.
Or I just shattered the rear tires or just rear grip. Yeah, limited for sure. And I just do it.
Common problem. Watching 11th place here. Bubba Wallace and Ryan Preece. About 10 seconds back up the leader.
Yeah, I mean, at one point I thought Ryan Preece was going to drive straight to the front. As you see, Denny Hamlin on the inside of Kyle Busch right here.
That's going to put Busch 2 laps down and leave Todd Gilliland as the only driver 1 lap down and in the free pass position.
Well, you think about this, and then how many times we've seen this with Denny Hamlin just being able to run the bottom of the racetrack, in control of the race, and today just looks like so many of those days that we've seen from Denny Hamlin here, Regan.
Well, Kevin, that's right. This is probably not the update that the competition wants right now. Of course, that last run, Denny's car got just a little bit too tight towards the end of the run. He didn't love that part of it. They were trying to specifically free up the end of the run, and the update from Denny to Chief Fitzgerald just a moment ago, we fixed the part of the run I want to. It's turning just a little bit better right now.
Bad luck's the only thing that can outrun that car today.
A lot of people thought last year was Denny Hamlin's year. He came into the championship race and dominated it, only to lose the title after the last caution flag. Well, now with this new point system, where every race matters and there's no more win and you're in. Despite Tyler Reddick's great start to the season, winning 4 out of 6. Could this well for Denny Hamlin's year?
Well, I think any of them could be Denny Hamlin's year because of his experience. I think with the crew chief change, going into last year, we all had a lot of questions about where that would land. I'm not so sure that they're not better than they were before that. After we got done with last year and everything that had transpired. So now you've had a year with the new crew chief, and now you're starting the second year, and you're still seeing those same results. So it's been an amazing year, and however many weeks we've raced up until this point.
William Byron chasing lead for 8th place with 153 laps to go. And there will be at least one more pit stop during the 400 laps here at Martinsville.
All right, so Denny Hamlin, current race leader, still 2 seconds out ahead of Ty Gibbs, bumping his way through lap traffic as he tries to work around Todd Gilliland right now. 152 laps to go. Ty Gibbs sits in 2nd, Ryan Blaney 3rd, Austin Cindric 4th, Joey Logano rounds out the top 5 in 5th. 6th place is Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson in 7th, William Byron 8th, Chase Elliott 9th, Shane Van Gisbergen in 10th, and 11th is Bubba Wallace, Ryan Preece 12th, Josh Berry 13th, 14th is Ross Chastain, Tyler Reddick in 15th. Carson Hocevar 16th. 17th is Zane Smith. Brad Keselowski 18th. Eric Jones 19th. And Justin Allgaier is 20th. 21st, Chase Briscoe, Michael McDowell 22nd. Daniel Suarez last car in the lead lap in 23rd. Todd Gilliland is 24th, as he just went a second lap down right now. Kyle Busch would be 25th. Ty Dillon 26th, Riley Herbst 27th, Chris Buescher 28th, Austin Dillon 29th, and Connor Zilic 30th. 31st is Noah Gregson, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 32nd, 33rd AJ Allmendinger, Austin Hill 34th, Cole Custer 35th, John Hunter Nemechek 36th, and 37th Cody Ware. So that rounds out the 37 car field. Denny Hamlin, the lead is now dropped down to about a second and a half as he's starting to hit some heavier lap traffic in front of him with slower lap cars that have already been put a lap down in the early going. Hamlin leads. And we just kind of wait around. I mean, it's one of those races where it's like, I don't have that feeling that he has it secured. He's the guy to beat. I've just seen this so many times in this sport where a guy dominates, we get a late caution, a pit stop happens, and lose several spots, and he's not going to get it back here at a track like Martinsville on a late race like 2 lap to go or 10 lap to go restart. It's just not going to happen. It's the last track to try to have that happen. Did I say I've never been to the Glen? No, I actually have. I was at Watkins Glen all the way back in 2019. It was my only trip there. I'd love to get back, though. Telling it like it is. Thanks for tuning in. Easy Network, thanks for watching as well. This is Tony's best track next to Pocono. He's pretty good at Darlington, too. He's got 5 wins there. He's got a handful of wins across these 3 tracks. Darlington, Martinsville, and Pocono. Pocono, of course, the site where he got his first career Cup win. Mar IX I3X2I, thanks for tuning in. Know what position Kyle Busch is in? He's in 25th. Just ran through the running order. And thanks to everybody else tuning in throughout today's live commentary stream. We're going to take a quick break here. We got 144 laps to go in this 400 lap race. Ryan Blaney around the outside going to get by Ty Gibbs. An impressive move to try to make this happen. And maybe the 12 car is finding a new line with these more worn out tires to try to get the job done. Great going there. It's 2.5 seconds out of the lead. Blaney is working through a deal of lap traffic at the moment where Denny Hamlin's got a little bit more clean air in front of him. While there are side-by-side lap cars not far in front of the 11, but he hasn't caught them yet. So the 12 is going to be losing a little bit of lap time on the outside of cars underneath of him. Gets right back down to the bottom as soon as he could. Ty Gibbs trying to get by Stenhouse on the inside. Gibbs starting to struggle in lap traffic as we get about 60 laps into this green flag run. Austin Cindric in the 2 car is now starting to run him down and put a battle on for 3rd place. Cindric, a great day here today at Martinsville. Had a couple of top 10 performances here already in recent years, but maybe looking for his first top 5 at this track. One car on the pit road for a green flag stop, Chase Elliott.
We're looking right around lap 300, give or take. So here we got Chase Elliott on pit road right now. This could be a strategy or maybe even splitting this final stage in thirds. Guys, talking about that if you were in big trouble.
Well, that's a lot of time to spend on pit road under green if you have to do it twice.
But the window is open now to make it to the end.
Okay. So Elliott completes his stop for Sunoco Race Fuel with 0 carbon bioethanol and a fresh set of Goodyear tires. AJ Allmendinger is in. He's already 3 laps down. Make that 4 now with the pit stop. It'll take a while for all this to cycle through.
Well, and it's going to get really confusing. And I think that Chase Elliott hitting early right here is going to make up a lot of time, but he's also put himself at the highest risk because of the fact that the caution comes out and he's been the only one that's on pit road because.
Well, there's no question that's the play. I mean, they're pitting and going for it. But they need something to happen. I mean, what do you eventually you got to give Pope a chance to work for you. Regan, why'd the 9 come in a little early?
Oh, Mike, just to get a little insight possibly to that strategy, about a lap before, he had just told crew chief Alan Gustafson that I'm really struggling to conserve tires. I don't get the payoff at the end of the run when I try to. So got to imagine they thought, let's try something different based on those comments.
So he's the first and so far only of the lead lap cars to make this pit stop.
Yeah, and we saw those first couple laps of Chase Elliott really wash up the racetrack. That's something that you have to be careful. As you've been out here running these lap after lap after lap, come in for new tires. Those first few corners, that car is going to want to go straight with the low air pressure and the car laid up on the ground. Will make that car extremely hard to drive. And we've seen some people come out of the pits and drive straight into some of these doors. So you got to pay attention to that. That car right there, Clint, that 19 car has had a miserable day. They've had a really tough start to the season. Had some days where that car has been fast, but I would have never imagined that 19 car be as far off today as it has been.
Well, neither did they. I mean, that was their teammate. Same stable, same people building the car, same simulation, everything. They just put him a lap down. Now, he just went 1 lap down for the 3rd time today. He's got the lucky dog twice. SVG on pit road. All right, a few more. Taking the opportunity to pit a little bit early, maybe 20, 25 laps early than Larry had us scheduled. 131 laps to go.
All right, under a commercial break now on Fox Sports 1. Denny Hamlin still leads now by 2.9 seconds over Ryan Blaney. 5.6 seconds to Ty Gibbs in 3rd. Austin Cindric 6.2 seconds out of the lead in 4th. And 5th is Joey Logano, 7.6 seconds out of the lead. That's the top 5, the intervals between those positions. 1 hour, 53 minutes and counting into today's race. Only 3 cautions, 2 for incident, 2 lead changes. It was Hamlin starting on the pole, then Byron taking the lead from him after about 50-something laps. 6 laps later, Hamlin back in the lead and has led every lap since. Green flag pit stops have been ongoing at times here. We had Chase Elliott pit a few laps ago. Right front tire starting to come apart on Austin Hill's race car. And I believe he was actually just on pit road, as it looks like maybe the lug nut wasn't on tightly as he just gets back in. And that tire is going to be serviced yet again. It looks scary situation there for Chase Elliott. He does not need a caution. Needs this to cycle all the way through and maybe become the leader, then get another yellow, and he's got the track position. Something of that nature. He's trying to do different from everybody else, but Elliott really the only of the lead lap cars that have hit pit road, and he pitted at about lap 140. He pitted with about 140 to go. Not a lap 140. It would have been around lap 260. Blaney's cut into the lead a little bit. He was 3 seconds back. Now the lead's down to 2.2 seconds. And this is what won Ryan Blaney the 2 fall race wins that he has had at Martinsville. Was a very long green flag run to the end. And as of this moment, currently looking pretty good. I just don't know if he's going to be able to keep that up. That would be the problem. Percentage of laps led looking very good for Denny Hamlin.
Speedway with the Craftsman Truck Series race on Friday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. And on Saturday, the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series races at 2:30 p.m. Eastern on the CW.
Now, besides Martinsville, Rockingham is the other NASCAR track with a train track right alongside. And if you want to go to Rockingham from Raleigh, you can take the train on Saturday. It'll stop in Cary, it'll stop in Southern Pines, take you right to the racetrack, take you back again after the race. That's pretty cool. Now, Austin Hill, you saw in our side-by-side coverage, he had a loose wheel. He did not lose the wheel. He came and got it replaced. You see it come off there on the front straightaway. The nut, not the wheel. There, the center locking nut off. There it is. And it's rolling down the front straightaway, completes the lap, and over against the wall out of harm's way. So we continue under green with 121 laps to go.
Got really lucky that was able to stay on the right side of the car, got it back to pit road.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, today's race has just had that green flag. It's been a green flag run type of day, as you see Denny Hamlin right there on the outside of Tyler Reddick with one lap down.
So Reddick is the 16th place car going a lap down. He next to be Brad Keselowski as Daniel Suarez pits.
Just absolutely destroying the competition. Denny Hamlin. I mean, we're looking at lapping 15th next.
Chase Elliott with fresh tires going past fifth place Joey Logano. And trying to get himself back in a position for the free pass. He is right now the 6th car, 1 lap down. Here is Larson on pit road, giving up a top 10 spot. Regan.
Like you see the 5-car Kyle Larson coming down pit road, pitting from the 7th position. This run, he's been fighting the rear grip and just a little bit too free. So obviously choosing this opportunity right here to pit a little bit early. Not sure if this would be a 1 or 2 stop strategy for him.
Reddick, Logano, Byron, and Briscoe are on pit road.
Mike, I think pitting this deep, this is sticking to a one-stop strategy. They're just short pitting, trying to get a little bit of advantage from stretch tires.
Christopher Bell comes to the pit lane along with Ryan Preece with 116 laps to go.
Yeah, and the worst part about all this for everybody that's pitting right now, I mean, Denny Hamlin was so far ahead that he can literally just wait until everybody pits and probably still come back out as the leader. So what does that mean, Clint? That means he's not only is he able to keep the lead, but he's also able to have fresher tires than everybody else because he's going to be able to wait to pit longer.
I'd say as fast as some of these cars are going up through the field on tires and everybody being in the way, you look at Nemechek right there with Chastain in front of you, Ryan behind him, there's liable to be a wreck. It could be right here in the leader's lap.
Eric Jones is in, so is Zane Smith and Riley Hurst.
Those tires, you think they don't mean anything? Look how much faster Byron and some of those guys are on tires. It is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Byron ran a 29.72 the last time by, and Denny Hamlin, our leader, was a 21.38. Second and a half.
Well, except for William Byron early in the race, it's the only time Hamlin's been passed today is by some of these lap cars coming back out on brand new tires.
But
These guys are in big trouble. There's a lot of them out of control.
Justin Allgaier comes to the pit road along with Brad Keselowski. After Keselowski got lapped, he comes pit side.
And this is when you do not want to have one of those pit road mistakes, a speeding penalty, something happened with the pit crew. Do it all right. Do not get carried away. Regan?
We see the 54 Ty Gibbs getting ready to come to his pit stall right now. Been very quiet this run on the radio. Still said he's just a little bit too tight. Same thing he's been fighting for the past little bit.
Austin Cindric is going to give up 3rd place.
Look at this mess. The mess in front of Denny Hamlin. He wanted no part of that, did he, Kevin? Back plumb out of that. Good call. Here comes the pit road, you leader.
Leader's in. Bubba Wallace comes with him. Ty Dillon as well. For what they hope will be their final pit stop of the day. Now, Hamlin had a 3-second lead and only 4 other cars on the lead lap when he came to pit road, Regan.
Well, Mike, that's right. It was a very calm pit crew down here as well. They didn't even have their helmets on till about 5 laps ago to get ready for Denny to come to pit road. As for the car, he has not said anything since he said they made it just a little bit better on the long run about 25 laps ago. He's pretty happy.
Ryan Blaney gives up the lead to pit, and Justin Allgaier's crew has an uncontrolled tire battle. So Blaney's going to get 4 tires and fuel. That gives Josh Berry the lead.
That's close right
Is
there.
he over?
That is,
Frontline?
that is really close right there, Clint. That's gonna be splitting hairs as to whether that's a penalty or not.
Kosovar is in. So is Stenhouse. And Chastain. So that leaves only Josh Berry and Michael McDowell on the racetrack who have not pitted among the lead lap cars. Let's take a look at that.
Oh, so close.
Very close.
That white line is too far. Anything on that white line is a penalty. So Blaney's good right there, but he had to come around the 8 car in order to get his pit and wound up deep in his box right there.
Our vantage point was at just a little bit of an angle, just enough. Make it look like they might be over, but they complete the legal stop. Well, cars on fresh tires, cars on old tires, all around the racetrack. And now everybody has made that stop. Chase Elliott was the first to pit at lap 261.
Now he
He
leads.
cycles through to the lead. Then Shane Van Gisbergen, who pitted at lap 268. And then Denny Hamlin, who didn't pit until lap 290.
Now 29 laps later, Mike, which means those tires are 29 laps newer. And right now he's about almost 6 seconds. Well, it's hard to tell on our sport monitor. It's kind of all over the place, but
Well, Elliott was almost 9 seconds down when he made his pit stop. And he cycles through to the lead, but can he hold it with Hamlin just 4 seconds back on way fresher tires, as you said?
Well, regardless, that's the reason you did it, right? That's why we make a gamble and it's short pitted. Gained a lot of track position there, Larry.
Well, I go back to Regan Smith's report. He said he was out of rear tires. He said, I can't drive this thing like it is. So they really, yeah, it paid off. I think it's going to be a short-lived time at the lead, but I think they had to do what they did there.
Well, I don't know if it was necessarily to win the race from there on that particular gamble, but certainly to gain a lot of track position that we needed.
well, you're giving yourself a chance. If the caution comes out, you're going to have the track position and
I like that gamble.
you go with 8, 10, 15 laps. I mean, everybody's going to come down on pit road.
And now just 13 cars on the lead lap. But Chase Elliott is going to be your leader here for a while because Hamlin is not just 3.5 seconds back, but there are 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cars in between Elliott and Hamlin on track.
Yeah, and the problem for Chase Elliott right now is all these cars are faster than him because of the new tires. So he's ended up on the outside of this racetrack, and that'll put him in a position where he loses more time. So tough to be the car that is on defense trying to just get out of the way when everybody else just wants to get past the leader.
Cole Custer to pit road while Ty Dillon could not get down to pit road after he had a problem in turn 2. Might have cut down the tire after contact. They were 3 wide going into that.
Yeah, one of the hard parts when you're in Ty Dillon's position like that is just getting down the racetrack.
Well, there he got down. I think he's going to make it around. Yeah, right front is down for sure.
Oh, a lot of smoke right there.
But he will make it to the goal.
Big time coming to you.
Got a fire.
Fire, brakes. Look pretty much.
And he's going to come almost to the start-finish line to get to his pit stall.
Well, caution was that was what I was thinking. That was a lucky one.
Boy, they are flying past Chase Elliott because of his being the first to stop for tires. Everybody with fresher tires is now taking advantage to unlap themselves.
Yeah, and he's losing 4 or 5 tenths a lap now. Denny Hamlin's got that under 3 seconds up to the 9 car. But still, I love the pit strategy, trying to put yourself in a spot to see if you can get that caution to fall at the right time.
It could happen right here. There is a lot of movement on this racetrack all around. Everybody, different sets of tires, really differentiates the speed.
Fourth place battle here. Ty Gibbs, Shane Van Gisbergen. Now Van Gisbergen's tires are 20 laps older than Gibbs.
Great day for that 97. We've been talking about what he needs to do to improve this year, and hearing it from him and everybody else. So it has to be on the ovals, and you're seeing that week in and week out right now.
So there were 12 cars between Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin. Now there's only 4. And as they keep passing Elliott, well, now there's only 3.
Yeah, it's just a matter of 2 or 3 laps.
But Elliott's in a dogfight up here trying to fight these guys. I look in front of him. That's a mess. Big payoff for him. He was 9th when he pitted early and started this whole pit cycle. Brian Kay in a 600 start going underneath Chase to get a lap back. That's the 19th place car with Chastain 20th. They're going to get back on the lead lap there, and here comes Hamlin for the lead.
And right now, Ross Chastain doesn't want to let Denny Hamlin by either because he doesn't want to be a lap down. So important for that 1 car of Ross Chastain and the 17 car of Chris Buescher to be able to keep themselves in front of that 11 car as long as possible.
Now the 9 needs to try to follow suit. Let the 11 make the hole and you go with him. That's a tall order, but that's what you're trying to do. He'll make it a lot easier getting up through those lappers with you on wore out tires, Chase Elliott.
And if he can't, 3rd place Ryan Blaney is going to be in the picture in another couple of laps.
Yeah, Blaney's going to go right by him. I mean, right now,
well,
Chase Elliott's got to decide, that team's got to decide, okay, are we on that strategy to pit again? Because he is definitely the slowest car, one of the slower cars on the racetrack with the age on those tires.
Larry of Chase pits again. He's going to fall back under green to what, 24th, 25th place, or even worse.
Yeah, I just don't see him. He's going to have to, like, because he would be trying to run 103 laps on those tires. And while ago, he was out of tires basically after about 70 laps.
Caution has waved at Martinsville. They're at lap 312.
What for? What? I'm confused.
It's a disintegrated brake rotor somewhere out on track.
That's
So
the 10 that we see. When
that's brought out the caution.
When that 10 car, Ty Dillon, was in pit road, I saw that the caliper was way messed up inside the wheel.
The caliper was on fire.
Yeah, and then look like there was a rotor in it.
All right, so wins the free pass lottery. I believe it will be Daniel Suarez, according to scoring, who was in the position to get the free pass.
Well, he gets the free pass. The winner in that whole exchange is Chase Elliott.
Yes, sir. Exactly what they. So, Larry, we're under caution with 88 to go. We know Chase Elliott will likely come in for tires. Who
Yeah,
else?
and Kevin, after 2.5 years, has brainwashed me. I'll bring you in pit road and get 4 tires, but I can almost guarantee somebody's going to try something here. We may see somebody try right sides only. Follow the leader, you're going to follow the leader all day long. We still got a long way to go, though. Somebody's going to try something here.
Well, this is when these races start to get crazy. You get guys that try that strategy that already have a slow car and put 2 tires on, and then the restarts get stacked up. They all know that they got to push and shove harder than they have all day. And that's when we start to see those cars get tore up.
And you have a leader that's setting a pace like this. You know, there's only one way around him and to do something different. You're not going to pass him on the racetrack because of speed.
You want the over-under on what the 11's going to do?
4 tires.
We only have 19 cars on the lead.
There it
That's
is.
a piece of rotor right there.
It is not a.
And there's that piece.
So
No, is that the rotor?
that's definitely a rotor.
Okay.
All the conspiracies out there are out the window. You can't race with that now. It is on pit road.
Well, either way.
It was flying there about where that center lock.
If it's on pit road, there's some on the racetrack too.
Okay. 19 lead lap cars plus Daniel Suarez, the free pass car. And it includes all of the Gibbs cars, all of the Penske cars. There's your pit crew rankings so far this season. Christopher Bell first. He will come in 5th. Last stop, he gained a whole bunch. Don't even look at the Ryan Blaney line. Watch circle that.
Well, because it stands out very, very
Not in a good way.
They've done good today. They've minimized the damage today, and that's what great teams do. They put those
So
band-aids
far.
behind them. There's a reason
They've
that
done
they
good
don't
so
change that
far.
team, because they think that those guys can get the job done. So
They have had their issues. Having to stop in another their teammates' pit to get a center line not to tighten more than once. 10 minutes. Having to come from the back and coming into this race, Blaney has passed 114 cars this year, and 75 of those were spots lost by those way too long pit stops.
That's incredible to be able to overcome that as a team. I'm going to go back to what you said, though, Kevin. Didn't make that change, which in its own is a huge confidence booster for that team. If you're going over the wall, you're worried about it, right? We've made some massive mistakes. They know that. They're professionals. That's what they do for a living, right? This isn't a hobby for those guys. So you're nervous about it. You go on the carpet, listen to the boss, and the captain says, "We're going to keep you where you are, but let's fix this." That's a huge confidence booster.
and all these big teams have pit stop departments, right? They have coaches and bosses and people that make those decisions. So we'll see what happens here. Pit road's open.
19 lead lap cars heading for pit road. 13 of them have come to the pit lane so far. Jamie.
Joey Logano pits from 6. He said he's pretty good turning now. It's gotten a lot better, a little tight and dirty here. Wants to wedge out for the restart. Meanwhile, the 20 of Christopher Bell said he's turning better on both ends. Just wants a little bit of help. The comments, Mike Helton for the go party.
Mike Helton.
Chase Elliott liked where the balance was that run, especially since he was pushing hard the entire run. And then the 11 car of Denny Hamlin said he got a little bit tight after the stop, but because it was green flag and traffic, he doesn't want any changes for this next.
Chase Elliott, Ty Gibbs, back and forth. They come out behind Hamlin. 18 of the 19 lead lap cars stopped. Ross Chastain was the one who did not.
All right, under caution, and that is for debris on pit road. It was the brake rotor, I believe, that ended up coming off of the 10 of Ty Dillon's race car, as he had an issue several laps before the caution flag actually came out. So here we go. Got over 250 people watching concurrently in today's live race commentary stream. Greatly appreciate everybody that has tuned in all afternoon long, all weekend long, even yesterday for the O'Reilly race as well. We'll be live again next weekend on the channel. Saturday afternoon doubleheader with the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series and the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series on Saturday. So again, doubleheader coming your way on Saturday. O'Reilly and Truck Series action at Rockingham. And that should be a fun one. That was a good set of races last year. And I think we'll have another good set again this year. Great to see the Rock back on the schedule within the top 3 preliminary series in the NASCAR side of things. And hopefully the Cup Series can get there at some point sometime soon. As far as the Cup side, they are off on Easter Sunday, the first of 2 off weeks in 2026. And we will be seeing them again at Bristol in 2 weeks' time. So live commentary won't begin for the Cup Series until Bristol in 2 weeks, and we'll be live for Cup practice and qualifying that Saturday and Sunday with the Cup race. Thank you to those that are watching our chat poll that has been open for a little bit now as to who you think is going to win today's race between Denny Hamlin or the rest of the field. 51 votes have been casted. Hamlin at 47% of those votes has led the majority of the laps today, and the field at 53%. So had some green flag pit stops that went on there, so Hamlin's percentage of laps led had went down quite a bit, but he has led 292 of 320 so far. Chase Elliott led for a bit during green flag stops. There were a couple other drivers that stayed out a little long. Josh Berry was one of which to do so. Ryan Blaney led for 2 laps. Hamlin pitted just before him. And then Ross Chastain in the lead now as he stayed out of the pits entirely during this caution. He was the only driver that stayed out. So Chastain will be the leader on the restart. Denny Hamlin is going to be second. Chase Elliott third. Ty Gibbs fourth. Ryan Blaney in fifth. And then Christopher Bell will be sixth.
They call Martinsville a half mile of mayhem. There's a look at it from our aerial coverage. Brought to you by Goodyear. Tried, tested, proven, legendary. Well, things are heating up in the Cookout 400. We've got 80 laps to go. We just made what they hope will be the final stop of the day. And there's the hot dog counter.
46,000.
I think Devin, our feature producer, only ate probably 1,100 of those or so.
You think
And he's going to make a pit stop on the way home. So,
you think Chris Myers is down there eating hot dogs?
That was fantastic.
I don't think he's had one.
Well, remember last
They might be out of hot dogs. No, can't happen. This place is shut down, just like it would if Tyler Reddick won, he said last week. A lot of weight around there, Larry.
Yeah, we had a dozen. And when I was talking about trying something different, I'm not sure I was talking about staying out on 22 lap tires like the one car, Ross Chastain. Everybody else, 4 tires, including Hamlin, that'll restart on the outside up.
Well,
Chastain was 19th. He's now the leader. 12th.
this might be the only situation where a controlled car on the restart might not win the restart, as Ross Chastain in the 1 is on the older tires by about 20 laps or so compared to the rest of the field behind him. Denny Hamlin in the 11 is going to be the first on fresh tires outside of row 1. Hamlin restarted the outside of row 1 earlier, but he was the control car in that instant. Not this time. All right, green flag back in the air. We'll see what he can do. Hamlin kind of spins the tires on the restart, and Chastain is going to get clear into the first turn. 3 wide middle of the pack. Carson Hocevar getting around Bubba Wallace and Brad Keselowski a little outside the top 10. Big block by Larson to get to the bottom in front of Austin Cindric just within the top 10. Hamlin stuck on the outside, and Chase Elliott in the 9 is underneath him. Oh, big crash up out of turn 4. Hocevar is around. And quite a few others trying to evade. Bubba Wallace, Eric Jones crashed against the inside wall. Austin Hill spun around as well.
Well, when Bubba Wallace gave Carson Hocevar a rocket shot going into turn number 3. And a lap later, they all stack up coming up.
I think you're exactly right, Mike. All over that one.
Yeah, Bubba's had a tough day.
To have a look around, watch this. Bubba Wallace, here we go, guys. And you're all over it, Mike. Go ahead, take it. You saw it.
Chastain's leaving a little room there to chase Briscoe as he enters the corner.
Oh,
Bang! That's one.
I'm telling you what, there's got to be more to that story. Because that right there,
that took about a quarter of the field.
Well, I mean, Bubba Wallace just drove flat through the 77 cars, so I would assume that there was something that happened before that for that type of aggression.
I know that Hocevar went 3 wide on the restart in 1 and 2.
But
I don't know if there was contact.
You see him just throttle up right there and just drive through it.
That was a big enough block to warrant that, though. There's more to that story. I agree with you.
Chris Buescher will get the free pass from Bubba Wallace.
His day.
Although Bubba was off the throttle, all that momentum.
Well, he was off
that stack up.
He was off the throttle after he was in the throttle. Right here, you can see him just continuously.
Yikes.
And then he gets out of the throttle right here to try to get off of him. But man, that.
All right, what did the Hurricane have to say about that?
Fair assessment.
I concur. He's back to 19th.
And look, I mean,
and he was top 10.
Yeah, Carson Hocevar takes a lot of heat, and you know that unless there's something that we didn't see before that, his description of what happened is exactly correct.
74 laps to go. Chastain, the surprise leader after not making a pit stop.
And he holds on for at least a handful of more laps until we get to the next restart. He's going to need a lot more cautions where this came from for him to hold on these 20-lap older tires. But right now, looking pretty good out in front of the field. We haven't seen a Trackhouse Chevy really do that much this year. Even in the one road course race we had, SVG was not able to really lead many laps back at Coda en route to the second place finish. Chastain came into the day outside of the top 20 in points, and he has struggled this year in the standings as we take a look at it. He might be around 20th, actually. Yeah, he is 20th in points coming in. The good news is, to the cut line, he's only 24 back. But the bad news is he's only had one top 10 finish so far this year, so definitely lacking consistency. As far as stage points go, he has only scored 11 of them. It's just not been a good season for Chastain. No stage points today either. He'd been running right around 20th the whole race again. So trying something different. Even if he doesn't win the race, the hope is we get cautions like this at an abundance from now to the finish. And as a result of which, he could end up getting out of here with maybe a top 10 or top 15, which would have been better than what he was running. So it might work out for him, but the problem is if we say go green on this next restart, go green to the end, he's going to have a hard time trying to hold on to even that top 20 in the running order. Another good news is there's only 22 cars on the lead lap, so even if he were to lose out on this strategy-wise, he would only lose a couple positions from where he was running anyway. It's only a good or bad strategy call based off of maybe where you're running in the field prior to that said strategy call, and I don't think it's a bad one for Chastain. I take the high line on the restart. Doubt Chastain's tires will be good 2 restarts in a row. Well, I don't. Everybody's got a heat cycle on their tires now, so if anything, I think the restart this time for Chastain's going to be even better than the last, personally. Everybody has to wait to launch after him. Hamlin spun his tires on the outside of row number 1, which we actually seen quite a few drivers in the O'Reilly race do that yesterday as well, when being on the outside of row 1. Just hadn't seen that much today until Hamlin just a few moments ago. So Chase Elliott was in front of Denny at the time of the caution out of turn 4 in the first lap following the restart. So it'll be Ross Chastain in the lead, Chase Elliott in second, Denny Hamlin third, Ryan Blaney fourth, and Ty Gibbs now rounding out the top 5.
We are currently 9th in points, might get knocked out of the top 10.
Hocevar's lost his dente off the left side there.
Yeah. You know, I like what we see. See that inner fender? That's something you don't get a chance to see with these bodies much anymore. It's how they're constructed.
That's a wheel well, Clint.
You don't call that an inner fender?
No.
No. In the Midwest, we call them inner fenders.
Hold the phone. Here's some more Hocevar radio.
Fine, leave it. You left it open. I just ran over you. Lost it fine. Okay, full focus back on the vision. Yeah, good.
Yeah, and what he's talking about right there is the 77 car put 23 and one of the other cars 3 wide on the restart. But man, I after we went back and looked at it during the break, there was nothing that warranted getting run over like that.
He will restart inside the 10th row. Chastain and Elliott.
All right, Chastain going to try to do it for another restart in a row. 69 laps left at Martinsville this time around. Green flag back in the air. Elliott gets a decent launch on the outside of row number 1. Chastain makes a little bit of contact with him. Not sure if that's because maybe Denny got in the back of the one or what it was. Denny doesn't want to lose too many more positions. Ryan Blaney in the 12 already clear. Blaney going to stay on the high side, though, with Chastain occupying the bottom. One kind of ran the 9 up the track a little bit through 3 and 4. Blaney got slowed up, and Hamlin back to the inside of the 12 again. Chastain holding on strong for now. Chase Elliott trying to do great work on the top continuously to hopefully work himself around that 1 car. Neither the 9 or the 1 really have anything for the 12, 11, or 54 that are the next few in the running order behind them. But at least for Elliott's sake, he's on even tires, so maybe track position is going to be all he needs to win this race. Elliott clear of the pack up out of turn 2. And the longer it takes for Hamlin, Blaney, and those guys to get by Chastain, the better for Elliott, though Elliott overdrives turn 3. Chastain got back to his back bumper. Blaney up against the wall after contact with Denny Hamlin up out of turn 4. A little bit of a squeeze play there, and Blaney ran out of room with the 11 car. Loses quite a few spots. falling from about 4th to 7th, and Christopher Bell is underneath him for that spot. Not sure how those two got tangled together, but they did, and the 12 ended up in the fence. Not sure if Hamlin thought he was clear and moved up, or if they got together kind of like center off of the corner and got glued to one another, but going to have to get a replay of that. For right now, Hamlin's just a man on a mission trying to get back to the lead and take control of this race again. And he is not wasting any time. He's got his former rival, Ross Chastain, right in front of him. A little bump. Chastain lets him go now in 3 and 4. Fall in line quickly so Chastain doesn't get freight trained on the outside. Hard enough as it is to get back down to the bottom on equal tires, older tires. You're going to get freight trained way easier if you're Chastain. Joey Logano with a bump out of turn 2, but Chastain's going to block Logano. So that's where that is going to go, and Logano will hit him again, and we'll see how long it's going to be before he gets past. Bell was able to get by Blaney then for 6. Now Byron to the inside of the 12 car for 7th, as the 12 has been stuck on the outside since the restart. It was interesting. He got clear of Denny Hamlin on the restart, but then stayed on the outside because Chastain was down low. Thought he could maybe get a spot there, and then that left the battle open with the 11 car for another lap or two before the contact side by side off turn 4. Just getting a replay of that now. And Hamlin just, he washed up like the 12 wasn't there anymore, and he was. I don't think there was contact from Ty Gibbs to the back of the 11 of Hamlin, and that was a pretty big hit. For Blaney up against the wall. Lucky he didn't knock the toe out of the car, honestly. Pancaked it. It's also lucky it's a slower track by way of speed here at Martinsville. That kind of helps out with that a little bit. As far as not having as much damage. So Elliott still leads. He's about a half a second ahead of Hamlin. Chastain a second and a half back in third. 1.8 seconds to Logano in fourth. And Ty Gibbs is 2.1 seconds out of the lead in fifth. 59 laps to go as we're 10 laps into this green flag run. Average of the last caution at Martinsville was about with 57 laps to go. Lap 343, which we're at right now. And that's of the last 8 races here again. 2 races in that 8 race stretch have ended in overtime. That would be the next gen era races here at Martinsville, and obviously the last 4 spring races have been 400 lappers versus the fall 500, so not sure exactly how they came up with that metric in 8 races, but I'll just take Fox's word for it. I'll trust their stats department, I guess, out of default. I don't have a stats department. I'm my own stats department here. Chase is doing rather well for himself, having that clean air advantage. The only thing is we get to lap traffic, and Denny's just been by far the best driver. Also, Chase has struggled on a long run of 60-plus laps, which he would have to do in this race, and Hamlin has been not only the best in the short run, but the long run as well. He's going to have his hands full. It's not going to be an easy drive for Chase Elliott. And we saw the desperation out of Hamlin to get by both Chastain and Blaney, and I don't think he's going to waste any time trying to get by this 9 car as well. Because the quicker he can get to the lead, the quicker he can get back in control of this race again. In case of any late cautions, he'd be the leader into the pits and have a better time of winning that race out of pit lane. He does have the best pit box with qualifying on the pole yesterday, and he won the race out of the pits every time. And that only got ahead of the 11 because the 11 stumbled on the restart with Chastain to his inside. Denny looking to get that back. 54 laps to go at Martinsville Speedway. We'll actually go through the full field running order now as we're in the late going of this race. Chase Elliott leads, Denny Hamlin second. Third place is Joey Logano, Ty Gibbs fourth, and Ross Chastain rounds out the top 5 in fifth. Sixth is William Byron, Christopher Bell seventh, Ryan Blaney eighth. Ninth is Kyle Larson. Austin Cindric rounds out the top 10. Josh Berry in 11th, Shane Van Gisbergen in 12th, Chase Briscoe 13th, Ryan Preece 14th, 15th is Tyler Reddick, Brad Keselowski 16th, Carson Hocevar 17th, Michael McDowell 18th, Chris Buescher 19th, Daniel Suarez in 20th. 21st is Eric Jones, last driver on the lead lap. First car lap down right now is Justin Allgaier in 22nd, and Kyle Busch 23rd, Todd Gilliland 24th, Austin Dillon 25th, Connor Zillage 26th, AJ Allmendinger 27th, Noah Gragson 28th, Jonathan Nemechek 29th, and 30th is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Cole Custer 31st, Cody Ware 32nd, 33rd Austin Hill, Zane Smith 34th, Riley Herbst 35th, Bubba Wallace 36th, and Ty Dillon 37th. 4 cars out of the race so far. And again, 21 on the lead lap. We've had 5 cautions, 4 for incident, 1 not for incident at the end of stage 2, 8 lead changes, 54 laps spent under yellow. Current leader Chase Elliott has led for 36 laps all consecutively, and Denny Hamlin 292 of 353 laps led thus far. 6 for William Byron all the way back at stage 1. Hamlin did sweep the first 2 stages of the race as well. Other drivers in the lead, that pit strategy for Chastain. He's now back at 7th. Led for 14 laps. Ryan Blaney during green flag stops for 2. Same for Josh Berry. And those are the only drivers to lead at least 1 lap in the race today. So just 5 of them. 6 drivers to lead for those 8 lead changes. Hamlin's led 2 different times, trying to make it a third. Chase Elliott's lap time's looking pretty good. He was actually about 200s faster than Hamlin that last lap. Here's Bubba Wallace following the incident with Hocevar.
The corner and hit me in the turning. What a frustrating meter, man. With so much expectation coming here, favorite track, parties on the car, and just it wasn't the day we wanted. It didn't really happen to us. What an incident to play. We can win Saturday in practice. Don't show up on Sunday. Right, our team. It's frustration. So we can go off and reset and go on to Bristol. It's not a
All right, that was Bubba Wallace after the contact with Hocevar resulting in the last caution. Chase Elliott still holding on very, very strong. 1 second lead. He's actually built that up a little bit. Maybe Denny is saving his tires just a bit for the long run here. Elliott has not won at Martinsville since 2020 in the fall when he won the championship the very next week. Hamlin's last win here last spring, where he did what he did today, leading over half the laps in the race. And won the first 2 stages of that race and went on to win as well. So trying to repeat history. 43 laps to go this time by for that 11 to run down the 9.
On that first run of the day, and they spent the time to come in and work on their car a little bit on one of those pit stops. They got themselves some good adjustments.
Sarah Gutierrez, thanks for tuning in.
Great pit call.
Hoping for a Denny win.
To put themselves second on that restart. And now they caught the caution at the right time, got the track position with the timely caution, being in front of Denny Hamlin on restart, and they've taken full advantage of that. And they've obviously made their cars better. And you heard Hamlin talk about this before the race, about having to make your car better as the race goes on.
All right, what's up with Denny Hamlin? Here's his radio.
Got nothing going on with the rear by going or braking.
Well, 41 to go. First time since 2019 that Hendrick Motorsports has gone this deep into the season without a victory. Same for Chevrolet.
Yeah, well, this is obviously the new Chevrolet car, but we know that this is more of a mechanical racetrack to get your car right. And Hendrick Motorsports has been absolutely one of the teams, one of the couple, 2 or 3 teams to beat at Martinsville here. So Chase Elliott, one of his best racetracks. We saw it yesterday in practice, Clint. His car was really, really good on that practice run, and here they are.
Well, Hamlin, whatever it was, he's strangled it back up because we're matching lap times again. You can see right there the gap's back under a second. So if he made an adjustment with his brake bias or whatever the case may be, I don't think he's quite out of this yet. But he's definitely having trouble.
And these cars, the brakes on these cars are weird. You'll go into the corner sometimes, and the brake pedal will go down, and then the next lap you'll go into the corner and the brake pedal will be fine. So that was one of the hardest things to get used to with this car, was just the inconsistency of how the brake pedal felt. And I think that might be what Denny Hamlin was experiencing there.
He did hit that 12 with the right rear. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. His statement, some things to throw out there, but the difference maker, as we know, Martinsville is going to be what's ahead of this 9 car right here, and that's lap traffic. Coming in here, Hendrick Motorsports coming into
one of, if not their most successful racetrack. Look at the first 6 races this year. 4 DNFs, no victories. All those laps led at Martinsville. No other team has done that in any track. Winning half and then some of the last 11 races and coming in here without a victory. But 3 times in the past, Hendrick Motorsports got their first win of the season at Martinsville. 1984, Jeff Bodine, when this race was held on the last weekend of April. 2003, Jeff Gordon. 2009, Jimmy Johnson.
Well, we know they're going to get it figured out eventually with everything that they have going on. And it's not like they've been bad. We covered that earlier. I mean, they're still, right now they'd be 4th, 5th, and
they're good.
8th in the points.
They're good.
But
They used to be great.
Their expectations are to be great. And still one of my favorite lines that I've ever heard, and it was in one of those documentaries, and it was Rick, Linda, and I think it was Jeff Gordon, and they talked about the 2 or 3 cars that they had in a chase, and I think Jeff said, "What do you think?" And Linda said, "Well, I expect all 4 to be in there." And I'm thinking to myself, I was like, well, I thought Rick was the competitive one, but no, I think that she might be more competitive than him.
Well, Joe Gibbs Racing right now with all their cars in the top 13. Chase Briscoe has been on and off of the lead lap 3 times today, but now he's up in the 13th spot. There's Ty Gibbs in 4th, Hamlin 2nd, and Christopher Bell has risen to 6th. Great pit stops have helped Bell,
That's
also he's driven up there.
Yeah, and he's raced a little rougher than I typically used to seeing him race, but they've done a great job for him on pit road. He's been able to take advantage of it on the racetrack.
Well, look at the front bumper of that car. It's he's driving a camera. I think he knocked the Y off of it, getting into somebody.
But your leader's starting to get into lap traffic, and that puts Hamlin right back on his bumper.
Ricky Stenhouse has not been the easiest car to pass today.
Yeah, you see, first thing that 9 car does is just roll up on the back bumper, give a little shot. Stenhouse is like, I get it. I understand. Go by.
That's 3 laps down. Thank you.
And it still allowed Hamlin to draw a little bit closer right there, getting into 3.
He's back within striking distance now.
Now that was a Chevrolet, and a Chevrolet is leading. The next car ahead is a Toyota, that being Eric Jones.
And you see
Not sure he'll go away as quietly.
You see that battle on the bottom of the screen, and what that usually says to me here at Martinsville, if you pan up and look how far behind that one car is compared to everybody else in front of him, that usually means that your back bumper is free game because you're pulling the whole line of cars up.
Well, that's all for position. Chastain giving up 8 to Kyle Larson.
Boy, you're right, Kevin. He was holding that freight train up big time. Look out ahead of him. There's nobody in the
Not another car anywhere in sight.
Wow. You don't dare move him, though, because you know you're going to get moved back.
26 to go. Look at that gap. It exists from 7th to 8th. It's 5 seconds.
See that gap up front. Chase Elliott won't buy the 43 car of Eric Jones right there.
He put up no fight. He's a pro. Hey, someday that favor might get returned.
Well, that's your hope.
I remember hearing Denny Hamlin say it was a little tight that one run. I think it was in the 2nd stage. And I'm watching him work in lap traffic. He's a little bit lethargic when he leaves the corner on exit. Having a little bit of trouble, kind of like we saw with Blaney on his outside. You take that exit away from him, he's struggling.
But and the hard part when you get in these situations and you've led the race all day, sometimes you're not as eager to as you see a battle for 6th place right there, Ryan Blaney going around Christopher Bell. But back to the Hamlin thing, sometimes you don't make as big of adjustments that you would if you were in Chase Elliott's position to try to make your car better.
And I don't blame him, you know, and you're lights out on the competition. He lapped up at 15 running.
All right, we're working our way to 21 laps to go. Chase Elliott holding off Denny Hamlin, or at least attempting to late. Joey Logano not out of this by any means either. He's been running some pretty good lap times back in third place and just less than a second and a half behind these top two. And if it does get a little bit of contacty between Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin, Logano could be there for the taking. Ty Gibbs in fourth is about 2.6 seconds back, and then Byron in fifth is 3.7 out of the lead. Top 10 in the running order and the order in which they run is Chase Elliott leading Denny Hamlin in second, then Joey Logano third, Ty Gibbs fourth, William Byron in fifth. Ryan Blaney just passed Christopher Bell for sixth. Bell still at seventh. Bigger gap back to Kyle Larson in eighth. And then Austin Cindric ninth and Josh Berry still holding on in 10th. As he started the day in third, and he has ran top 10 all day. Stage points in the first two stages, and looking for a good finish to go along with it. Chase Elliott's last win, Kansas, in the fall of last season. Had 2 wins in 2025. He's not won a race this early in the season in quite some time in his NASCAR Cup Series career. And Denny Hamlin looking to, I wouldn't say spoil the party, because Denny Hamlin has led the most laps in the race today. If anything, it'd be Chase Elliott trying to spoil the party. But Elliott's struggling a little bit more in lap traffic. Despite getting out to a 1.3 second lead, has allowed for Hamlin to close back in late. And Elliott has not been good on the longer runs compared to Hamlin, 60-plus laps especially, and this is a 69-lap run to the checker from the last restart. Still 16 laps to go this time by at the line. Hamlin was side-by-side with Buescher for at least 3 laps, though Hamlin now gets stuck behind Chris Buescher. He slipped the rear tires a ton off of turn 4, almost made contact with the 17, had to lift. That was a big slip up by Denny Hamlin. And that's going to buy Denny Hamlin, or Chase Elliott, I should say, quite a bit more time. The 11 should get by the 17 this round. John Hunter Nemechek in the 42 now on the outside of the 9 of Chase Elliott as Hamlin has cleared Buescher out of turn 2. 3 and 4, Elliott on the bottom of that 42 car. And Chase Elliott's clear off turn 4. Lead is just over a half a second at the line, 14 laps to go. Denny running out of time fast. Next lap car in front of Elliott is Noah Gragson in the 4 for Front Row Motorsports. Hamlin will get clear of Nemechek out of turn 4. There are currently no lap cars between the top 2 positions. Logano still closing. He's now 1.1 seconds out of the race lead back in third. But he's still got 2 more lap cars to catch just to get to the 11. Noah Gragson in the 4 in front of Elliott. Elliott charges to the inside in turns 3 and 4. It's where you catch him and how you get the drive off on the exit of the corner, and a pretty clean pass by Elliott as Gragson will let the 9 car go, and I would assume will be the case for the 11 as well. Denny Hamlin gets a shot to move Elliott. I'm sure he's going to give him a run for his money. Car lengths is about 4 to 5 between the 9 and the 11. 11 laps to go now. Elliott going to get by A.J. Allmendinger in the 16 pretty quickly. That is a Chevy, of course, that was just passed, but Allmendinger going to do the respectful thing, and he's going to stay out of the way of both of the top 2 in the running order. Hamlin kind of caught him in a little bit worse spot off turn 4 because he couldn't clear the 16 where the 9 was able to in 1 and 2. So subtle differences in getting by the lap traffic equates to time lost in that instance for Denny Hamlin. By the way, also, Chastain, who was on the old tires on the restarts, falling back to 15th place. He was the only driver who stayed out during that last caution. 9 to go for the number 9. Hamlin deep on corner entry, just sailing it off in there behind Kyle Busch in the 8. Probably hoping he was going to get to the inside of him there. Now he'll get to the inside. It's also a combination of really just trying to do something different to try to catch this 9 car at a faster rate than he's trying to catch him right now. That debris caution for the brake rotor on pit road had flipped the tables and gave Chase Elliott a shot after running right around 10th place most of the day. Was on an alternate pit strategy that nobody else was on by short pitting back in stage 3. Green flag pit stops came about. He cycled into the lead. Hamlin got back by him, only for the caution to come out a few laps later while Elliott was in second. And then on a restart was able to get by Hamlin after Chastain had stayed out of the pits, kind of causing Hamlin to restart on the outside of row number 1. He was not able to get the fire off. Elliott got past him, eventually got by Chastain on the next ensuing restart. While Hamlin had to battle back with the 12 and the 1, allowed for the 9 to get away. The 11 has been trying to play catch up ever since, has not gotten to Chase Elliott yet. And he's running out of laps, 5 to go. A few more lap cars Elliott's trying to work around. Right now, Todd Gilliland has been cleared off turn 4. He's got Cole Custer and several others just in front of him. This thing is not over yet. Denny Hamlin closed that last lap entirely. He's now within about 2 to 3 car lengths. It was 4 to 5 just a few laps ago. Rookie Connor Zilic and then Cole Custer, those next 2 cars. The Hendrick teammate of Chase Elliott's is not that far up ahead as well. That would be Justin Allgaier in the 48. Hamlin with a wider arc into turns 1 and 2, trying to diamond cut the corner and get a straight line exit off. Elliott struggling to get alongside the 41 of Cole Custer for right now. Custer another Chevy. 3 laps to go for Chase Elliott. Connor Zilic in the 88 is next. Elliott catches him off turn 2, not clear, though Hamlin has not gotten to the inside of Cole Custer in the 41 yet. Custer slips the rear tires a ton. Hamlin will get by him, and now he's got Zilic. 2 laps to go for Chase Elliott. Hamlin still trying to get through lap traffic. Allgaier probably going to let the 9 car go. He's well up out of the way. Lap and a half left for Chase. About a half a second lead coming to the white flag. 1 lap to go for Chase Elliott at Martinsville. .200 out of 400 plus laps led today for Hamlin. Not enough, even after winning the first 2 stages. It's Chase Elliott with pit strategy and a timely caution and capitalizing on a late race restart. That will steal the race win away. And Elliott is a winner for the 2nd time in his Cup career at Martinsville. Chase Elliott wins the Cookout 400. Denny Hamlin 2nd. Joey Logano 3rd. Another top 5 for Ty Gibbs in 4th. And William Byron in 5th. Ryan Blaney with a 6th place finish. 7th for Christopher Bell. 8th, Austin Cindric. Kyle Larson 9th. And Josh Berry rounds out the top 10. 11th place, Shane Van Gisbergen. 12th for Ryan Preece. Brad Keselowski 13th. 14th, Chase Briscoe. 15th, Tyler Reddick. Ross Chastain 16th. Carson Hocevar 17th. Michael McDowell 18th. Was the last car to finish on the lead lap. Chris Buescher 19th. Daniel Suarez 20th. Eric Jones 21st. Justin Allgaier 22nd. 23rd, Todd Gilliland. Kyle Busch 24th. Austin Dillon 25th. Connor Zilic 26th. AJ Allmendinger 27th. Noah Gragson 28th, John Hunter Nemechek 29th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 30th, Cole Custer 31st, Cody Ware 32nd, Austin Hill 33rd, Zane Smith 34th, 35th for Riley Herbst, 36th, Bubba Wallace and Ty Dillon 37th. 4 DNFs, again 18 cars. Finish on the lead lap, margin of victory about a half a second for Chase Elliott over Denny Hamlin. Elliott led for 84 laps, 292 for Hamlin, 6 for William Byron, 2 for Blaney, 2 for Berry, and 14 for Chastain were the only 6 drivers to lead. 8 lead changes, 5 cautions, 4 for incident, 2 of them in stage 3, 1 in stage 2, and 1 in stage 1 on the incidental side of things. 54 laps of caution in the 400 lap race length that we had today. Finishes under regulation with our scheduled distance. 2 hours, 47 minutes, and 18 seconds, the quickest race of the season so far in 2026. You'll get to hear from race winner Chase Elliott on the front stretch. 5th in points coming in. A win means a lot here. First of the year for Elliott.
victory and the relief of ending a rough start to the season for Hendrick Motorsports and Chevrolet.
Well, not really rough. Maybe just average.
This guy won. Chase Elliott led twice for 84 of the 400 laps. Regan Smith to celebrate with the winner.
For the first time in 2026, a Hendrick Motorsports car gets the victory. 31st time for Hendrick Motorsports at Martinsville Chase, but this one took a total team effort. Alan Gustafson makes a great pit call to get you the track position, but then you had to hold off Denny Hamlin at the end there. How'd you find a way to do that?
Yeah, it was definitely a team effort, man. How about that? That was awesome, man. We've never had a win this early in the season, so just a really great team effort, man. So proud of Alan and the whole UniFirst team. They did a great job. Yeah, we took a gamble. You know, we were going to two-stop that last stage. I honestly think it was going to work out really good for us either way. But just so proud of them, man. They put up with a lot, and they got to put up with me all the time. So I just appreciate them for sticking with me, and sure is a lot of fun when days like this work out. Definitely, really appreciate it. Thanks everybody, Hendrick Motorsports, Chevrolet, boss. I told you I thought we were okay. I didn't know if we were this good or not, but thanks for the opportunity as always. Wish you were here, but we'll see you next time. And say hey to my mom at home, and hope she's having a good evening.
When that caution comes out, what goes through your mind when you know that you've all of a sudden leapfrogged some of those cars and that possibly on a car that maybe wasn't great on the long runs all day long, that you were going to have to try and fend them off for 80 laps?
Yeah, I mean, this whole deal is really weird, like just the way it all works. And I was, you know, I told him there about, I don't know, half 3/4 way through. I thought, I really don't dislike my balance. I just wish I could control my runs a little better. And fortunately, you know, we got to the lead there on that last one and fell into a really good pace. And yeah, just had enough. You know, I think we probably needed a little bit, you know, to be just the absolute best outright. But we were really close and was able to manage and save enough to get through traffic there at the end. But yeah, just man, it's really cool when this stuff works out, you know, and to win these races is so tough. So just really really grateful for the opportunity as always. You know, it's I never take it for granted. Trust me, it's, you know, this is a dream come true for me. So thanks everybody for coming out today. Appreciate y'all. Y'all are amazing. Thanks for the support, and hope it was a good show for you.
Chase Elliott gets his second grandfather clock in a popular win at Martinsville.
And Denny Hamlin leads 292 laps, comes up just a little short, finishes second today. Denny, what did you need? Anything that you could have done differently there in that last run?
No, he did a good job controlling the pace there. It just, you know, it really came from that, you know, bad restart. Yeah, I had beside the one, and so just not much really I could have done there, and it felt like we gave it our all.
You guys were taking a look at something here. What did you think overall? Things were a little bit different package here. What was your takeaway?
I thought I had a loose wheel. You know, we'll check it out, but just felt similar to Darlington in the back. So we'll check it out here, but just thought the wheel was loose there on that last run. But either way, you know, we got yeah, these are just some of the races that get away from you in your career, and this one certainly is one of them.
Thanks, Denny. Mike.
Thanks, Jamie. Let's have a look at today's.
All right. Well, we'll check out the Fantasy League, and then we're going to head out of here for the night. So you can join the Fantasy League on the NASCAR.com website or the NASCAR mobile app. KRC League is the name of the league. KRC in all capital letters, space, capital L on league. Boom, there we go. And we'll take a look at that. My team for this weekend: William Byron, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney. Ty Gibbs was in my garage. Actually didn't make the switch when I probably should have. And if I would have, it would have been for Kyle Larson, who didn't score that many stage points today. But all in all, pretty good Fantasy League day. Head-to-head matchups. Looking at it, it's 3 for 4, not bad. Logano over Wallace, Byron over Larson, Bell over Reddick. The only one I missed at Hocevar over Keselowski, and Brad beat him by 4 positions. So, not too shabby there either. If we look at who won this week in the KRC League, Evan 48-48 with 283 points. Ends up rounding out the race win at Martinsville for the spring. Sauce Mafia at Austin Dillon fan finishes second with 275. 269 with beautiful 97 in third. Hercules Harrigan, 263 at fourth. Monster Jam X10 rounds out the top 5 and fifth with 262. I had 250 finishing in sixth. Congratulations again today to Chase Elliott, race winner at Martinsville Speedway. I will see you guys in next week. Not taking a week off. We will be live on Saturday for live commentary coverage of both the both the Truck Series and O'Reilly Series races, which will be taking place at Rockingham. Again, that will be Saturday afternoon in a doubleheader on Saturday. Cup Series will be off next weekend for Easter, so the next Cup Series live race stream will actually be on Sunday, April 12th at Bristol. Start time for that one, just stay posted in the community tab. We'll give you the start times when we get to the week of Bristol. But for next weekend, we'll be live. Again, doubleheader for both the O'Reilly and Truck Series races at Rockingham. And actually, let me pull up the start times for those streams here before I finish things off, just so you're aware. And I'll obviously post it in the community tab as we get closer to next weekend. All right, so Craftsman Truck Series race will be actually Friday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. So sorry about a Saturday doubleheader on that one. It's actually Friday, Saturday. So Friday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, we are going to be live. Rockingham will be that race for the Truck Series, and then the O'Reilly Series will be at 2:30 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. So hope to see you for that and much more. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good rest of your night, and I will see you back in